This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Very, 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 Mickey, 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 Fishy, Fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Head south, go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
Give me a name. Like who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
And we are live here on the Voices of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich, alongside, as always, the king of banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. You had to do a feverish catch-up today to get everything watched. A weekend's worth of wrestling watched in, what, one afternoon, essentially?
Yeah, because, you are just a piece of work. I mean, you think it's a bit and everything else. We're doing this on a Wednesday. I'm going to let everybody know why, okay? This guy is going on yet another vacation starting tomorrow. He just got out of Death Valley like 18 minutes ago, and now he's off on another vacation. I talked to the nurse. She says you're going to the Swiss Alps. That sounds like a very
Swiss Alps.
The Swiss
right.
Alps.
Yep.
I don't know. You're into skiing.
Yeah. Weekend trip, a cheeky little trip to the Swiss Alps. Yeah, for sure.
A little
definitely
yodeling,
something.
a little skiing.
That's definitely a trip you take on a Friday. You leave on a Thursday night, Friday, then you're home Sunday morning for sure. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, I don't know. You guys are bouncing around the globe all the time. So when she said that you were going to the Swiss Alps, I just said, "Wow, that's." I'm not surprised. We all know those visas are updated. Skipping off to Iceland not too long ago there. But unbelievable, this guy. Another vacation.
Well, the reason I like how you're trying to deflect here and immediately change the subject, but the reason why you had to pack everything into an action-packed Wednesday is because you, sir, were at the beach. Is that correct?
Listen.
Or you and the family was at the beach. And you were close.
Joe Lanza will never step on a beach. Let me make that clear.
Okay, I got to. Okay, so I don't care where you. It doesn't matter what beach you went to. You didn't even. I don't even know if you care or you want to say whatever. What is the process like when a Joe Lanza and the family go to a beach vacation? Is this the first beach vacation you guys have taken as a collective family, or does this happen often?
Went down to the beach house.
Okay, all right.
Look, this isn't about me.
No. It is. Oh, it is indeed about you. Yes. No. Everybody knows about my weekend Swiss Alps trip. But so when you arrive now, do you drop them? Like, so you're at a beach house. I imagine this beach house is very near a beach, correct? Like, easy question, easy answer, right? It's a beach house. They're usually right near beaches. Yes, right.
Generally near the beach.
Yes, it seems okay. So we have that. I just wanted to clarify, but I assume so. So now, how many steps? Like, are we talking like back door down a few steps and there's the beach, or you got to walk a few blocks or something like that?
It's a walkable distance for adults.
Okay. So walkable distance for adults. So okay, and then the real. Now I want to get to the crux of the situation here. Is you do not go to the beach.
It's not a walkable distance for toddlers. It's a walkable distance for able-bodied adults.
Got it. Okay. So you I imagine then, because Joe Lanza doesn't go to the beach, you at least drive them to the beach, right?
Okay. So
I just want to know how Joe goes to a beach. I want to know Joe goes to a beach in the process.
First of all, Joe Lanza will never step on a beach again for as long as
again. So was there a traumatic experience, or you're done with beaches?
No, I've been to the beach when I was younger, and I hate the fucking beach. As has been discussed many times, the beach is my personal hell. If there is a God, and there is a heaven and hell and a purgatory and all that bullshit. If hell is like your personal hell, your personal idealized version of what the worst possible scenario for all of eternity could be, mine would be a sunny beach. I cannot stand the fucking beach. I hate everything about the beach. I detest the beach. I will never step foot on a beach again as long as I live. I don't know if that answers your question.
Sort of. Yeah. So and I'm just curious how the vacation goes, the lands of vacation. So
okay,
you're at this beach house. You at least help them get to the beach, right? Because I imagine the rest of the family is not adverse to the beach like you are, right?
No, I love the beach. Can't get enough.
Right, because they're smart and they're cool and they understand the beach. Yeah, because
can't get enough.
Beaches are incredible. I'll go hang out with TLB on the beach.
I pack them in the car. I drop them off at the beach. And then I say, see you later, Toots. And I go back to the beach house and watch
a little spank on the butt. You say, see you later, Toots. A little spank on the butt and she's off.
Not even. Just to get out. Just to get out. Don't go. So get out of the car. Don't forget your gimmicks. And then a see you later. And I'm off. I peel off. Mm-hmm. Like the movies. I peel off.
Right. 2 tires. Just.
And I go back to the beach house and I watch baseball.
No.
I've got the whole setup there.
You're something else.
TV.
You're something else.
I get the little password in there, and I'm watching. I left. This is Sunday now. Reds 4-game series in St. Louis. They won the first 3. They're up 7-0 on Sunday. I'm like, this is a rocking chair game, right? So I'm watching this game, and then the Cardinals score 7 in the 6th to tie the game up. Right? I'm not in a good mood. Joe Lanza is in a foul mood. Okay, you blow a 7-run lead. They want to go to the beach in the 8th. I get them out of the car and on that dopey beach, and I'm home before the 9th starts. How about that?
That's incredible. That's pretty good.
So I get back in the beach house, feet up, watching the end of that Reds Cardinals game, which they won, by the way. 4-game sweep in St. Louis, first time since 1990. You know what happened in 1990, don't you, Rich?
Oh, I do, yeah. Won a little World Series, so there we go. Our
World Series victory.
Our 1919 World Series redemption. In my redemption world, it is Reds versus White Sox, with the White Sox coming out on top to redeem the Black Sox. But I'd be fine with either of us winning. That's okay. If the White Sox make it to the World Series and lose to the Reds, you tip your cap. That's okay.
So 4-game sweep in St. Louis, enjoying myself, relaxing. Kicking back.
Now, okay. Now, I'm just curious here. Now, are windows open? Are blinds open? Or is this like are you at a beach house that's just dark with the air conditioning running?
This is a nice place. Okay, what do you think of me? I'm going to get a nice place, especially since I'm going to be spending most of my time in it.
Right.
So,
right.
This is a classy joint. Okay. So the beach house is nice. But the point here is they're out of here. They're goofing around on the beach, and I've got quiet time.
Well, I just mean, are you letting are you hearing the waves? Are you seeing the sun? So okay, so you have the windows open at least a crack.
Windows open. I enjoy the ambiance.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I have this idea that you're like, all right, let's get out of the car, and then you peel off, and then you jump into the house, and then you lock the door, you close the blinds, you turn the air conditioning on, and then you're just Joe Lanza, MLB TV Joe Lanza for the next 4 hours. Well, it's a beautiful day outside, and you're the rest of your family's enjoying the beach, and you're just in this dark room watching MLB TV. But I like to know that at least you like the ambiance of it at least enough.
Well, the baseball's on. And, constant background noise. The baseball is on. Got my feet up. Got the phone out. I'm owning some dopes on Twitter. I'm enjoying the ambiance. It's
that doesn't sound as terrible. My idea was that you go to this beach house and then just close the blinds and close the windows and just don't want to be bothered at all.
Listen, vacations are relaxation. I'm there to relax.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I mean, I love the beach. I'm pro beach, but at least if you're at least taking in the ambiance of it, I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Yeah. And, then I go pick them up. They're covered in sand. Sand all
as one usually is when they go to the beach, yeah.
Yeah, the disgusting sand all inside the vehicle. And then they come home. They're in the shower. They're washing off. They're miserable. They've been in the heat. I'm like, why do this awful activity? I enjoyed myself. I'm in here. Nice cool breeze. I'm enjoying a Reds win. I've got a fucking Snapple kiwi strawberry in my hand. You're out there getting covered in sand, sweating, burning. It's disgusting. I don't understand. Going in that filthy water, seaweed everywhere. No thanks. I'm going to pass. I don't know what's going on in the ocean. There's creatures in it. Listen, no interest whatsoever.
You have to be a little careful in the ocean. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's all kinds of animals and creatures in there. There's things in the ocean the deeper you get that have not even been discovered yet.
Well, ideally, you're not going there. I mean,
The
those
scientists will tell you that there's things in the ocean that they're positive that there's species of creatures that have yet to be discovered, and you're going to go hang out in the ocean? No, thanks. I'm going to pass. There's a hard pass from JL. No interest. I don't know what's touching my feet when I'm in that water. You get that whole dizzy feeling. You ever standing in the ocean?
Oh, absolutely.
And the water comes in, and then the water recedes, and you feel like the world is spinning. No, thanks. I don't like that vertigo feeling. I don't like any of it. Salt water, you get it in your mouth. You just want to vomit all over the place. It's disgusting. That warm, salty, disgusting flavor that you get in your mouth from the salt from the ocean water. I mean, there's just nothing appealing about this at all.
So Joe's not bringing his boogie board out there, his body board to ride the waves. No surfing for Joe.
No,
Shinsuke Nakamura and Joe are not going to be surfing together anytime soon.
Oh, for God's sake, not a chance. But listen, I enjoyed a nice dinner, up on, this fucking gimmick where you could overlook the beach and the water. I'm fine with that. I like looking at the beach.
Okay. Because that at least, because I was prepared to come onto the show when you told me that you dropped them off at the beach and then came home and watched the Reds game. I have this idea that you're in this TLB opens all the windows so she can hear the waves as she wakes up or whatever, and you walk into the house and just close all the windows and close all the blinds and just go, who needs the ocean, who needs the beach? Like, so I'm glad that at least you appreciate the ambiance of it and the noise and the look of it, at least, because I think it's got. I personally am a beach fan no matter what. I like the ambiance of it. I like the waves. I like the sounds. I like hanging out on the beach. I like the sand. I like the water. That's all cool with me. I don't even care if there's creatures and all that shit. That is a little tough. You do have to be careful with the creatures. That does scare you ever so often. I had a jellyfish fucking hit me in the face one day at a time. Luckily, it did not sting me, but that'll take you out of the ocean for a few hours when you come face to face with a jellyfish. But that's not great. But I'm glad to hear that you at least enjoy looking at the ocean, because I was a little worried when I heard how you were handling your vacation. So,
what about the intense heat bearing down on you from the summer sun?
It's incredible.
It's a nightmare.
I just spent an hour and a half playing basketball today at lunch. On my lunch break, me and guys from my work go outside and we just play basketball for an hour and a half. So
listen, I really hate the beach and the ocean, but one thing I hate more than both of those things is the sun. I hate the fucking sun. I hate it. I have no use for the sun. Now, on top of that, they're still picking sand out of their hair. Okay? Came home a day ago. They're still
that'll be there for weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, who needs it? Who needs this?
I love it.
Why is this good?
It's great.
Out there fucking vacuuming the car, trying to get the fucking sand out of the car. Fucking grains of sand in their hair for weeks on end. Who needs it? I remember that. That's why I will never step foot on a beach again. Now listen, when I lived in New Jersey and I was 18, 19 years old, this was the move. You're seeing a new girl, you go out on a date, you take her down the shore, down to Joey Janela territory, okay? At night, you take them on the beach at night.
I was going to say, are you today, are you still would you walk, okay, if TLB, not to interrupt your story, but if TLB said, Joe, I really want to take a walk on the beach, it's like nighttime or whatever, would you do that or no? Fully clear. I mean, you could have shoes on. You know what I mean? Like, she's got sandals. Yeah. You got would you still avoid it?
I will never step foot on a beach again as long as I live. And she understands that.
So she knows that too. She's not going to get disappointed. Okay.
No, she don't care. No, she's fine with it. She's like, go watch your stupid baseball, and then that's the end of it. Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Yeah, with a better view. Yeah, better. This TV's beautiful. Yeah, it's great.
I'm like, first of all, you're wrong. This is completely different from home because I'm watching baseball, but I can hear waves crashing. That's completely different than home. So you're way off base there. Okay, that's number one. But no, I will never go on the beach again. But in my younger days, I would tough it out because girls like that shit. You go on the beach at night, you hear the waves, the fucking moon. They like that shit. So. You're probably going to get some. You're going to be finger blasting them within a half hour, and if you might get lucky. So you have to do the beach when you're younger. But now, but as far as hanging out, no. Now that I'm an adult, I don't need the beach anymore. The beach doesn't serve me any more purpose other than to annoy me. Everything about the beach is annoying. Like, I can't think of one thing about the beach that isn't annoying. Like, if you're physically on the beach, it all sucks. So anything you bring on the beach basically has to be burned because it's just going to have sand in it for eternity. Towels, blankets, clothes, shoes. Forget it. Once those things are on a beach, you may as well leave them there. You know what I mean? Like, because there's no, you can't use those items anymore. They're destroyed. You can't eat on the beach. The wind blows. You get sand in your food. What is the appeal? You can't tell me you've ever tried to eat on the beach and didn't get sand in your food.
It happens. You chew some sand every so often. It's all right.
You gotta be a fan of sand to enjoy the beach.
You do.
And I am not a fan of sand.
That's fair. And that will separate the beach lovers from the beach haters for sure. It is, you gotta love sand everywhere. And there are people, I've been to the beach before and all they do is bitch about the sand. And there's other people that have never cared. So yeah, it's the people that hate the sand, they don't usually come back when I ask if they want to go to the beach again. So
there's like nothing for me. I'm just trying to eat like a gabagool and provolone sandwich here, and there's fucking sand blowing in it. And what's happening here? Who enjoys this activity? Where else do you willingly go to be inconvenienced by a shitty substance like sand? You don't do it on purpose, but people will do this on the beach. I didn't plan on going on this rant here, but you made me do it. I wasn't even going to talk about the beach.
It's a good summer. It's a good summer topic. We haven't approached the summer topic in quite a while, so I thought I would get back to it.
I hate the fucking beach. Yeah. I can't think of a place on the planet I'd rather be less than.
Well, that's why I was so surprised when you said I'm going to the beach, and I'm just like, oh, what? I was like, man, Joe has really changed. Like TLB's really got him whipped into shape, and then I hear, I dropped him off at the beach, and I'm watching the Reds game, and that's when I was like, oh, I cannot wait. I put that in the little notes and said we are discussing that this week because I just need to.
I probably never should have said anything.
Yeah. Now, but hey, we filled 20 minutes of time, so.
Did you think I drove all the way back to College Station?
I kind of thought you may have. Honestly, I kind of thought that like I didn't know. I don't know where you were going, and you didn't tell me where you're going, and that's fine. I don't really care. But like, I wasn't sure if you like dropped them off, and then they were staying with somebody, or they had their own beach house, and you're like, I got no time to be anywhere near a beach. Get out. You're good. Call me when you need.
I'll tell you where the beach house. But these maniacs, I don't.
Oh no, dear God, no. Yes.
These psychopaths listening to this.
Was there a WCW spring breakout at this beach at any point?
Listen, no, there's not going to be any hints.
Okay, all right.
Because these people, they're going to track me down. And try to
they're
kill
fucking
me.
Psychopaths. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no. But listen, then I come back from this little trip. Okay, listen to this now, since you got me started. Okay, come in the house. Listen to this ordeal. Walk in the house. I'm like, something's off. It's fucking sweltering inside the house. I checked the thermostat. It's 87 degrees in the house. The air has been cranked the whole time because I want to come home to a nice 68-degree house. Okay? Air is cranked. And it's 85. It's like 85, 86 degrees in the house. Air conditioner unit goes while we're at the trip. Wow. Then, while we're dealing with that, I go to unload my dishwasher because before we left, I slapped send on the dishwasher to do a load. I figured I'll unload it when we get back. I open up the dishwasher. All the dishes are dirty. Like, what's going on with it? The dishwasher is broken, and it never cleaned the load. And then I tried to start, and it won't start. So the dishwasher's broken when I come back.
Oh, my God. See, this is what happens when you go to the beach. Yeah, that's what happens when you go to the beach.
It's all beach karma. So I come back. The air conditioning unit is on the fucking fritz. The dishwasher's broken. It's an utter disaster.
Sounds like we need some $10 subscribers. Patreon.com/voicesofwrestling.
Absolutely. I'm counting the money I spent on the trip. I'm counting the money I got to spend on this air conditioning unit. The family is just, they cannot exist without this air. I mean, they are just, I'm like, you got to get out of here. You guys got to go somewhere. Go away. Go to a fucking Target. Buy some fans. Just get out of here. Because I can't listen to this until the sun goes down. It'll be a little cooler. Okay. So we call the gimmick. The gimmick comes over. He's like, I can't fix the gimmick because the gimmick's all frozen. So we got to let the gimmick thaw out before I can figure out what's going on with it. So I got to come back tomorrow. So everyone's like stripped down. We're trying to sleep naked. The windows are open, but the air outside is warm and disgusting. So that doesn't help.
There's nothing worse. It's impossible. Yeah, you don't sleep. You don't sleep at all.
Everyone's waking up every 5 minutes. So, we get the guy here in the morning, and then he's able to fix it. So he gets that fixed. Still no dishwasher. So TLB's in the sink washing dishes like it's fucking the 1600s.
She's got the gloves on. She's got the gloves on.
I'm like, I can't. This is unacceptable. Yeah. She's like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe we're washing dishes by hand. I know. I'm not a wash dishes by hand person. I can't handle it. So we got to figure that out. So now we're looking at dishwashers online. The price of dishwashers have gone up.
Yeah, the price of everything. Yeah, I was going to say now is a terrible time to have to buy anything. If you need a car part, an appliance, a car, like pretty much don't buy anything for the next, I don't know, year or so, because yeah, right now, not good at all. So I know my father-in-law is trying to buy a new washer. His washer just broke, and he was just like, "Yep, this is not going well." It's yeah. My mom has a car part that so something got wrong, broke on her car. I forget what it was, transmission or something like that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's covered under warranty." And she's like, "All right, cool, yeah, sounds great." They're like, "Yeah, we should have the part in about, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks or whatever." She's like, "Oh, okay, like so I just won't use my car for 6 to 8 weeks." And they're like, "Well, we don't have a part. What do you want us to do?" So it's just like, "Oh, all right, cool." So yeah. Don't need anything for a while. That's all I'll tell you.
The last time I bought a dishwasher, they were like $200-$300. So I'm telling TLB, I'm like, don't worry about it. They're like $200-$300. We'll have one. We'll call up fucking Lowe's or something. Have one sent over. I think they even install it for you. So we go online to look at these fucking things. Bottom of the line is like $500 now. Bottom of the line. You can easily spend over $1,000 on a fucking dishwasher. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the price of dishwashers in the last 12 years since I last bought a dishwasher have shot up that exponentially. But I got to have it. So now I got to buy the dishwasher. Had to fix the fucking air unit. All the money spent on the vacation. Believe me. Would have ate out 1 or 2 times less if I'd known I was coming home to this. Believe me. So I'm in a bit of a surly mood today. Then.
Oh God, what? What more?
Then I'm trying to watch all this wrestling because I got to watch 4 days worth of wrestling I've got like 6 hours to watch 4 days worth of wrestling, right? In the middle of this, I got to do a grocery order because there's no food in the house. Okay. So I'm doing a grocery order while I'm watching fucking Yo grapple with a fucking Desperado in the most boring junior title match I've ever seen in my life.
I actually liked it. Okay? I think you were in a bad mood, but no, it was a little long. Yeah, we'll get to that.
You're going to get some rough reviews today. Yeah. So I'm trying to order fucking Pop-Tarts on the phone app while I'm watching this dopey match. And in the meantime, so the kids and TLB, I sent them out to a pool. I'm like, get out of the house until the air is fixed. Go play in the pool. So they're out of the house. But the repairman keeps coming in the house every 20 minutes to update me on what he's doing. And he may as well be speaking a foreign fucking language. I don't know what he's saying. I don't care what he's saying. And all I can think in my head every time he comes in, he's going, well, we got to let that coil fall out. And then once we get that going, we'll get the fit. I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care. Just fix it. Fix it and hand me a bill. That's the only 2 times. I want to see you twice. I want to see you when you figure out what's wrong with it, and then I approve it. And then I want to see you when you hand me the bill. He's coming in the house every 20 minutes. So you see, it's kind of like your car.
Right. Like,
there's this thermostat, and then he's like, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, I know nothing.
Yeah, it's like having this conversation. It's like telling that guy he's having a conversation with a 7-year-old. You know what I mean? Like yes. it's that type of level. Only the 7-year-old might be interested and might ask questions. Whereas you will absolutely not care. Really,
don't care.
You really just want to watch fucking JTG and No Days Off Fred Rosser. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
I'm like, dude, if you only knew, the only thing I know about a car is how to put gas in it, and I only learned that when I moved to Texas. Okay,
because New Jersey's, New Jersey's, I know we got when I went to New Jersey, we tried to fill up gas, and I remember that being a very weird thing where the guy we started touching it, and the guy ran out. I was like, no, and we're like, what? Who cares? Like I had no idea that was a thing in New Jersey. Still, how is that still a thing?
Yeah, so they pump the gas for you in New Jersey. It's tremendous. You got some geek comes up to your window. He asks you what you want. You tell him fill regular. You roll up your window, and you don't have to deal with him again. They fills the car. You're in there. It's cold. You're nice and toasty. You got your or if it's in the summer, you got your air on. He's out there sweating his balls off, pumping your gas for you. It's amazing. The rest of this country, you got to get out of the car and do it yourself like an animal. It's crazy. So I didn't even know how to do that until fucking 12 years ago. So this guy's talking about how the AC unit is just like my car, and I'm like, go away.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, I've got so I have to pause the fucking wrestling every time he comes in. Okay, It's humiliating enough. I'm watching Japanese wrestling every time this guy walks in the house. Like that's embarrassing enough. Okay. And then I got to pause it and pretend that I care what he's saying to me. And he's one of these guys that's coming in every 20 minutes to update. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, just fucking fix it. And then take my credit card and go along your merry way to your next job. I don't care. I just want it not to be hot in here. I'll pay you whatever it requires and be done with it. I don't need the fucking explanation because I think these other people want everything explained to them. I'm not like that. I don't care. Just fucking fix it. So I'm in a horrible mood to begin with. And this is just slowing me down. And I watched a bunch of shitty wrestling matches to get them all done before this show. And I got just about all of it in. So, yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Do you want it to know? That's what I think of the fucking
There
bitch.
you go.
Okay? And that's what I got. And I still don't. And now got to figure out this dishwasher situation. Listen, we got a stack of paper plates down there, fucking 3 feet high, because I can't. No.
Once you've gone there, and like I lived most of my life without a dishwasher, but once you cannot go back. It is, ours was down for a little bit, and it was just like they would just pile up for days on days, and I'm just like, well, we got to do it. We'd have like arguments, like throwdown arguments. She's like, well, I don't want to do it. I'm like, well, I don't want to do it either. Like, but we have to do it. We don't have any more forks. And it was just like, and then you wait so long, and it becomes such a disaster. And it's just like, yeah, you feel like you're right. You're an absolute animal. You're just sitting there scraping, these fucking forks and these plates. You're like, what am I doing? I have a job. Like, I don't need to do this anymore. Like,
oh well, first thing I did was buy paper plates. Second thing I did was order a fucking pizza, because if you think I'm cooking elaborate meals,
yeah.
I'm not going in there
pans and
scrubbing
shit.
pans.
Get out of here. Yeah, get out of here.
TLB, it's great. TLB was. I have to whisper this part. TLB was in the sink, like washing the dishes with the fucking air all fucking broken, sweating. She's like rubbing her brow. She's like, "This is horrible." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "Look, I got to watch this wrestling. I got to get this done, for the show. I got to watch this wrestling, So I'd be right there with you, but I got to watch this."
Jun Akiyama Hiroshima match. I can't pull myself away. We got listeners.
She's like, I know. Do your work.
Your work.
Yeah.
When you absolutely could just say, "Hey guys, I didn't have time to watch the NWA show," and that'd be perfectly fine. But
then I would have been in the fucking sink doing the dishes.
I know. It's just
so I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's a bummer. I know. I'll get you next time. Tomorrow I'll get them. But now we got the paper plates, and I'm just ordering pizzas. So there's gonna be fucking, I'm gonna be rinsing out fucking cups. She did that whole load that was in the dishwasher when we left, which I thought we were going to come home to a clean load. But so
that's heartbreaking too. I'm a big fan of like put it in and hit the button and then go away for a day or whatever. I do it in the morning. I hit that button. I come home. House is sparkling when you come home.
You come
Dishes
home,
are ready.
You jump up. You click your heels together. You fucking Dishes are done. All I gotta do is put them away.
See, because I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of cleaning the house before you leave on a thing. Like Michelle is the opposite. The whole place would be a fucking bomb scene if it was up to her. She'd throw everything all over the place.
Yeah.
Dishes ever, all that sort of stuff. I'm the exact opposite. I like to get everything done because I say when you walk in from that vacation or you walk in from being away for a weekend and everything's done already, it doesn't feel like such a gut punch. When you're away and then fuck, I got to do the dishes. Fuck, I got to do the laundry. Shit, I got to do. If you just have everything done before that, you get a bonus day basically. You come home and you're like, oh man, I got another few hours of vacation. This is good. This is just an extension of the vacation. But
that was the plan.
Yeah, didn't work out that way at all.
Didn't work out. So
that's the show. This is going to be a fired up show that I don't think.
I was hoping it was maybe just the breaker, so I'm out there fiddling with the fucking fuse box, which is another thing you don't want me doing.
You must have gotten real desperate if you're out there fucking.
I couldn't figure out how to open it.
That's a bad start.
Jam tight, so I'm like waving the neighbor over. I'm like, hey man, you know how to open these fucking things? So he comes over like the Fonz and just fucking punches.
Yeah. I got a neighbor like that too. He's got every tool in the world and he's like he's a mechanic. Like he fixes car. He's actually literally working on a car right now as I'm looking at him. And it's perfect. Anytime I don't know how to do anything, which is most things, I'm just like, hey, John. He's like, oh yeah, 1 sec, and he comes over. I gotta bring over some tool to do it. It's incredible. So
every tool. Yeah. I never felt more emasculated than when he came over and basically just punched the fuse box and the door popped open. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, what are you, Arthur Fonzarelli? What the fuck is happening here? You know, I'm like, is a song gonna play? Is this like the fucking jukebox at fucking Big Al's? Like, he just popped it and it fucking popped right open. I couldn't believe my eyes. I never feel like less of a man than when another man has to help me do something. Yeah. You know, it's a horrible feeling. One time I had this outdoor canopy outside, one of those deals you buy that fucking, you know, you stick it outside. It's got the gimmick with the gimmick and the fucking, it's for to keep the sun off of you, you know, and I couldn't build it. So I had to get a fucking derelict off Craigslist to come over and build the thing for me, first of all. So the guy comes over and he builds it, right? But then like a few years later, like it kind of got destroyed. I didn't want it anymore, but I couldn't figure out how to like dismantle it. So my neighbor saw me struggling and he's like, Joe, I'll be right over. Hold on. He comes out of his garage and I hear this. I hear, he's got a fucking chainsaw.
Oh, he's just going to cut that shit up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, I think he just wanted to use his chainsaw.
Oh yeah. Every guy just wants to use their chainsaw. Yeah. Yeah. My neighbor will just bring the chainsaw over for many things. You know, it's so like, I'm like, hey, I just need to take this, this branch off. And he's like, yeah, well, we'll just chainsaw it off. I'm like, I think just clippers would work. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So he's like, get the kids back. So I'm like, pushing. He fucking
gets the glasses on, puts the glasses on, gets ready. Yeah.
I'm like, that's metal. There's gonna be fucking metal shards, like we're on the fucking, like we're fucking storming the
Forged
fucking
in Fire. Yeah,
yeah,
Forged in Fire History Channel. Yeah,
yeah. There's gonna be shrapnel, like we're storming Normandy, right? Because he's fucking metal. So he's cutting the thing down, he cuts it all down, and he's fucking having the time of his life. You know, no safety goggles, nothing. You know. So then he just
he should definitely have worn safety goggles.
He didn't have safety goggles, so it's fucking metal. It's metal, Rich. So. That was probably, I don't know, like 3 years ago. And because the kids were real little. And that pile of fucking aluminum from this thing just got removed from my yard like 2 weeks ago. It's been sitting back there because I didn't know what to do with it. And I was too lazy to get rid of it myself. So again, Craigslist to the rescue. I said I had some scrap metal. I had people tripping over themselves to come pick up.
Yeah, so you don't have junk guys that just goes, I could put that shit on my front lawn or on my like parkway, and that shit'll get picked up in like 10 minutes. I don't know how these guys find it, but you put any metal, aluminum, or anything out there, in 10 minutes, a guy comes in a truck, throws them into his truck, drives away, and you're good. Like it's incredible.
Yeah. So I had a guy come down and take it away. But yeah, that was in my yard for like 3-4 years. Pile of fucking aluminum that my neighbor chainsawed down. Yeah, that's what goes on over here. This is you should come out. You should hang out here for like a week and see what goes on.
I might. Yeah, I think I might do that. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
We'll do a live flagship one of these days in the flesh.
Yeah, that's true. Someone in the No Dopes chat room makes a good point. The HOA would probably explode if I put that stuff on the front.
Oh, I forget about your HOA. Yeah, right.
I did get fined $50 for having that broken spigot on my fence. The one
right.
And they did send a fine in the mail because I didn't get my it's been raining. It rains here like every day. So I hired the fence guy, but he can't do it because it keeps raining and he can't put the new fence up if the ground is soft. Right? So like it'll rain and then not rain for 2 days and he's getting ready to come out and do it, and then it'll rain again. So then the fucking timer timed out and I ended up getting the fine for the broken spigot. And the fence still isn't up. This has been going on for like 2-3 weeks because it's constantly raining. Now I got to pay these assholes the $50 fine on top of fucking putting the fence. That's the other expenditure. This fucking fence that I got to pay for too because I'm just doing the whole fence. I might as well because these spigots are just going to keep breaking. So what's the point? Listen, Patreon.com/
I was going to say, plug away, Joe. Plug away.
3 price tiers to fit every budget. Okay. Now, listen, to be fair, there's a tremendous amount of content behind it. I've been writing my ass off, okay? Rich puts up audio like every 8 seconds. So there's plenty of stuff to read and fucking listen to. We've never done more content than we're doing right now. So, things aren't going well for me at the moment. So I'd appreciate a few subscriptions. How about that?
There it is.
That's me panhandling.
Yeah, no Ko-Fi links or Ko-Fi links or anything like that.
I'm going to work for it.
Yeah,
I'm going to work for it.
Yeah, for sure. GoFundMe, Joe on GoFundMe, so Joe can get his fence fixed.
Go fund my dishwasher.
Right, Patreon.com.
Because of course now she's looking at these $1,000 dishwashers that have like fucking, they're connected to the Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah, you can run it off Wi-Fi and shit.
Yeah,
what the hell do we need that for?
I'm like, no.
Mine has so many dumb features that I never use. It plays music and stuff, and like it was like a low end one or whatever, but it was like a Samsung low end one, and you can like customize a jingle that plays when it's done with your load, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, why do I need this? It's like, just wash the fucking dishes. And it's like, well, do you want heavy wash or medium wash or low wash? I always just do heavy wash. I know it's probably horrible for the environment or whatever, but like, I did low wash once and it didn't fucking clean anything. So I'm like, no, heavy wash, like, it's always the same. Like, I've changed one feature on that since the moment I've owned it. And it's like, why does it have 27 different features? Like, who's using this stuff? Like, who's using all these dumbass dishwasher features? Nobody.
No. But if I have the option for heavy wash, you bet your ass I'm slapping heavy wash.
Get out of here.
My carbon footprint is enormous. Every time I piss, I flush the toilet twice just out of habit. Like, I do the mid piss flush and then I do the post piss flush. I don't know why.
There's no need for that. Yeah, that is ridiculous. No, don't do that.
I've been doing it for like 20 years though, and I can't stop. Like, I don't want to do it. It's just a habit. I'm not thinking. I'm just fucking. I slap it and then I fucking slap it again when I'm done. I don't know why I do it. So, same thing. If you give me the option for the heavy load, I'm going to give you a heavy load.
There you go. Jeez.
There's an audio cut for you.
I was going to say, good Lord. But anyway, voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon, patreon.com/voicesofwrestling. $1, $5, and $10 tiers. $10 tiers get you the live flagships, No Dopes chat room as well. Some incredible stuff. There are a lot of people in there right now. The No Dopes chat room. So far, no dopes, but we'll keep an eye on that to see if any dopes do emerge. But yeah, a lot of great stuff on there for $5 and $10. A lot of written content from Joe as of late, including reviews and stuff. I've just finished up my WrestleMania Randomizer series, going through a random assortment of WrestleMania matches, 15 random WrestleMania matches, and getting started with my new series as well, hopefully in the next week. Looking at Slammiversaries, going our first TNA retro content we've ever done. So excited already on episode 1. I found some incredible TNA dirt that just is perfect. Just TNA being TNA stuff going on. So yeah, really incredible. It should be a lot of fun there, but that'll all be on the $5 tier. Joe's written stuff on the $10 tier. Instant Reaction Lives, Flagship Lives, Joe Varner to Remember. All that stuff is available at patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. So there you go. But
here's the next set of matches that I'll have reviews up for this week. Velocities versus Aussie Open from the PWA show on May 8th. The Guerrillas of Destiny versus Dangerous Techers match we talked about last week. The Never Openweight 6-man title match we talked about last week. 60-minute Iron Man match, Josh Alexander versus TJP from Impact last week. And the 5th match is still to be determined. But that'll be the next set of written reviews behind the paywall as well.
There you go. So, yeah, plenty to get to this week as well. We got the NWA When Our Shadows Fall review that we will do. We talked about we will never stop covering NWA on the show, and we of course had to watch the pay-per-view. They are very much testing that theory, but we will for the time being we will never stop. But yeah, they're certainly pushing their luck here with When Our Shadows Fall. We'll talk about that. Cyber Fight going on in joint show between DDT, Tokyo Joshi Pro, and Noah was last weekend as well. So we'll talk about some of the matches that we caught from that enormous 5 or 6 hour show. We did not watch everything on that show, obviously, because it was a very, very long show. But also NXT TakeOver In Your House is this weekend, and we got to talk about this card because this is true to the name In Your House, I would say, because this card fucking stinks. This card is so bad. This is 1995 In Your House for sure, so it is living up to the name for no doubt. But before we do all that, though, let's get to New Japan. New Japan Dominion. Go ahead.
Before New Japan, I got a couple quick hitters for you.
Yeah, what do you got?
Give me quick thoughts. Did you see the Matt Cardona, Nick Gage angle?
I did. Yeah. That was tremendous. That was tremendous stuff. So I initially just saw an image of it, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Matt Cardona came out or whatever, and then I saw the video, and dude, that's an angle, man. That is good shit from GCW. So credit where it's due to them. We give them a lot of shit about not running angles and not running actual stories or whatever, but they tend to do it a little bit in their main events. They tend to do it with their big stars, and yeah, that was an awesome one for people that haven't seen it. Essentially, A masked man in a hood comes out, and it appears to be Jon Moxley. It's got all the mannerisms of Jon Moxley. He attacks Nick Gage. He gives him, the Death Rider or whatever, the double arm DDT. And everybody thinks it's Mox, and everyone's going crazy. And yeah, Mox. Then he takes the mask off, and it's Matt Cardona, and the crowd, like, initially half the crowd is like, oh, it's Mox, and they can't quite tell that it's Matt Cardona yet. And it's one of those cool moments where you could tell that, like, throughout the building, it was kind of like there was a group that immediately started booing, knowing it was Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder or whatever. And then little by little, like, everybody in the crowd was like, wait a minute, that's not Mox. Because they kind of, from far, they kind of do look alike. And he did such a good job of looking like Moxley and acting like Moxley that the people are still popping a little bit. And then they realize, oh, fuck, that's Matt Cardona. And he does a great job as well of just being an asshole heel and just flicking the fans off. And yeah, that's good shit, man. This is old school indie ECW Ring of Honor stuff where the guy from the big company comes in and starts attacking one of the indie guys, and that's no better guy than Nick Gage as well to get involved in that. So I'm into it.
Great angle. I mean, incredible crowd pop. They wanted that man dead, and he's just doing such a good job with it because earlier that day on Twitter, someone asked him if he was going to be there, and he was like, "Nah, man, I'm at my home in Orlando. I got a woman in a string bikini that I'm staring at. I'm not going to some backyard wrestling show," because he's been doing this Twitter feud with Gage. So that set it up, and then he ends up showing up, and now he's kind of doing this thing where he's like, I'm this big national TV star, and I'm above all of this, but I'm going to win this GCW title anyway, So he's like shitting on the fans. He's shitting on the promotion. He's shitting on Gage. He's shitting on everybody because he's like this, he's too good for all this. But it's also very self-aware because the whole rub there is he's Matt fucking Cardona.
Yeah.
Like he's Zack Ryder. But he's self-aware enough to understand that that's the heat. That this, prelim guy, this jabron from WWE claims that he's a bigger deal than these gritty homegrown GCW guys and their ultimate hero, Nick Gage. And it's just tremendous stuff. I mean, we pick on Game Changer a lot. They nailed this, and I'm very interested in the eventual match.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And this is like the heel work that Cardona is doing is the heel work that you and I always say truly good heels do this work. There's this, there's been over the last 10 to 15 years the growing like just evil for the sake of evil heels, or heels that know they're evil and are just like, haha, I'm so evil. But what Cardona's doing is awesome because it's just like.
Or heels that try to be cool.
Right. He's not trying to be a cool heel. He's not an evil heel. He's just like, yeah, I'm fucking above all you jabrones. You know what I mean? Like I'm a big time star. I'm a fucking ex-WWE wrestler. Like I don't need this shit and I don't need you guys. And it's pretty cool. But he's like, the point too is like, yeah, that, yeah, fine. I'll come to your stupid company and win your stupid title to prove how dumb you guys all are. You know what I mean? Like, so right. That's it's just a really cool thing that there's the quote unquote self-awareness, but there's also the believability in that Mark Cardona thinks that he's, a certain level above those people. And then there's also the truth to it as well. It's like, he's not saying anything that's wrong. Like he was an ex-WWE guy and this is GCW. And, he comes into the ring and there's fucking glass everywhere. And he, his hand gets busted open as he does the Death Rider DDT. So the symbolism of is, that he is above this shit. And he's looking down at his hand and there's, glass in it. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, come on. Like, you guys are ridiculous. But hey, he's going to prove himself on that big stage and prove himself to GCW. So it's cool. I like that a lot. Heyman used to nail that thing a lot in ECW where like ex-WWE guys or ex-WCW guys would come in. Numerous guys would do that, dating back all the way to Mick Foley, coming in. As Cactus Jack and sort of saying, well, I'm from WCW in Atlanta and that sort of stuff. And then, eventually RVD doing it and many, many, many guys doing it in that company. And Ring of Honor did it from time to time as well pretty well. Obviously Gabe, from the Heyman tree was really good at kind of maximizing that. And anytime an ex-WWE guy would come into the company, they would usually be presented, unless they were, your Christians or guys like that, they were usually presented as, initially kind of heels because it was just like, yeah, I'm a big fish in a small pond, like type stuff.
Zack Ryder's perfect because he's just such a right off the conveyor belt WWE guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's the perfect guy to choose for this.
Right. He's like just fucking. You almost couldn't pick a better person.
Right. He's got no cred. He's got no indie cred whatsoever.
None. So it's almost perfect from that standpoint. And there is that added layer where it's one thing if Moxley comes into your company and goes after Nick Gage. It'd be one thing if it was Roman Reigns or something, But this is Zack Ryder. These fans are incensed.
Yeah, woo guy is here. Like, fuck
it's
you.
The woo guy. You know, because again, like, you nailed it. He just has no credibility with that kind of fan. So and he's making no attempt to be cool or get over as a face at all. He wants everyone to just hate his guts. And the dynamic for that match is going to be really great. So they've got the Mox match set up, and they've got this match set up. So you have to give them credit. We pick on them a lot for not doing stories. We pick on them a lot for a lot of different things, but they really nailed that. Quick hitter number 2. Lio Rush retires again. You want to go first on this one, or should I go?
You go first. Go first.
Look, I wish Lio Rush well, but to me, he's in the same category as Kylie Ray. Me personally, I would never give either one of those people an opportunity again. I'm not offering or handing either of those people a contract. I'm sure they're lovely people. I like both of them as wrestlers and performers. I think they're both tremendous. Am I putting their name on a contract if I'm running a wrestling company? Am I building long-term with either one of them ever again? No. You can't. How can you? You know, and the reasons don't even matter. I mean, you know, it does not even matter. The point is, and we'll talk about Kylie Ray later, I guess, because another company's going to try again, you know, with her popping up in NWA. And it's just, you know, it's just you're waiting for the inevitable, you know, and and, you know, in the case of Lio Rush, he's, you know, insanely talented, and he's 25 or 26 years old. And, you know, allegedly AEW did offer him a deal, and he could, you know, be a superstar pro wrestler for many years. He just, you know, now look, do I think Lio Rush has wrestled his last match? Oh God, no.
No,
give me a fucking break. We say this every time.
We've said it at least 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. We say this every time. He hasn't wrestled his last match. He's 26. He's great at it. It's going to lure him back. You know what I mean? And it's like the issues with Kylie Ray are a little different than whatever's going on with him. I think he just would rather do other things, like in his heart. I think he'd rather do music or whatever else he wants to do. So it's a little different than her situation.
Right. And he's got a legit injury right now as well. But for the record, like AEW, and I think he even said this as well on his Instagram post, is that even after finding out about the injury, I think it was something about an AC joint in his shoulder. I forget if it tore or whatever. He said even after that, AEW still said, like, okay, that's fine. We still want to sign you. And he walked away from that. So yeah, that is clear that, like, it's not just the injury. It's potentially the injury being part of it, but it's also, you know, trying to get away or do something else or do something else with your life, or the nagging injuries, and like there's a lot at hand there. But yeah, it's not just the injury, because AEW did not care. They said, hey, you're good, man. You know what I mean? Like, go get healthy, go get surgery, go whatever you have to do. Here's a contract no matter what. And he walked away from that. So
yeah. So I mean, you know, they're kind of 2 extremely talented wrestlers that are kind of in the same boat here, where, I mean, if I were running a promotion, I wouldn't trust the outcome with either of these people. I feel like there's a high probability you're going to get burned in the end. But, you know, do I think he's wrestled his last match? Just circling back to him specifically? Of course not. Not a chance. He'll be back. I think he probably believes he's retired. Like, I don't think he's trying to work people. I don't get that sense at all. I don't get the sense that he's seeking attention or doing a gimmick or this is a storyline, or I think he every time he does this, I think he truly believes he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. No doubt. I don't think he's doing it for attention or to book something later on down the line, or, you know, to build up to anything. I think he literally just, you know, sits down and says, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm done. But, you know, when you're 26 and you're as talented as he is, and there's always going to be that payday, like, I don't know. Do I trust that he's done? I don't. Yeah, I definitely do not.
He's tight with Janela, and Janela talked him back into it to do that feud that they had in Game Changer. And then from there, I guess he was getting phone calls. So he ends up on New Japan Strong, and AEW calls him, and all this. MLW. And he's in the middle of a big, you know, storyline in MLW. So he let, you know, you forget AEW. He worked 1 match there and never signed a deal. He left MLW hanging here, you know? So it's like, you know, I think, you know, he got back into it, and it's just something that keeps turning him off about the wrestling business. There's something that keeps pushing him away. And I think he's genuine when he leaves wrestling. This is the second or third time, at least the second. I don't know if it's been three. But I do think he'll be. Look, when you're that talented, I feel like we had this exact conversation like a year ago. But when you're that talented, someone's going to talk you back into it. And then once you start doing it and the offers start coming in. So I feel like we're going to go down this road again. The problem is from a promoter standpoint, unless it's a one night thing or, an indie shot or something like that, I don't know how you trust them to put pen to paper. I don't know. He's really great though. I mean, the end of his run with WWE, I thought was phenomenal. And it was on a bunch of shows that nobody was watching. It was after the Bobby Lashley manager run. They sent him to 205 Live in NXT. He did great work at the beginning of last year, right before the pandemic. Some of his indie stuff has been spotty. I think he got a little ambitious with the Blackheart character. I think that was a good idea on paper, wanted to set himself apart, but I didn't like the way he worked as the Blackheart character. That didn't land with me. But, you try things, though. I can't fault the guy for it. It just didn't work for me. But he's immensely talented, and I thought he was doing great stuff for New Japan. It really looked like he had a future with New Japan. I figured he's a guy that they'd bring to Japan once things get cleared up COVID-wise.
Oh, no doubt, yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. Here we are again. It's selfishly, I wish his first love was wrestling and not the music, because maybe that is the lure for him repeatedly. Maybe he just wants to do this music more than he wants to do the wrestling. And when you have another injury, you're just like, you know what? Fuck this. This isn't my first love anyway. And I don't know anything. This is just my, speculation on it all. But, I don't know. I just thought it was worth bringing up.
No, for sure. Yeah, and I saw him on the Indies, AEW a few times as well. So yeah, it kind of stinks that it's out, and he's done for now. But as we said, and as we said a year ago, and as I'll say a long times, I don't think he's wrestled this last match. And when things heal up and those calls come in again, or people I think he'll be back for sure. So
Chris Samsa brings up a good point in the No Dopes chat room where Rush says he's going to finish out his contractual obligations to New Japan when he's healthy. I don't know if that's because there's so much stuff in the can and that's kind of kayfabed. You know what I mean? Kind of to explain why people are still going to see him on New Japan Strong or whatnot. Or if he really is going to come back after his injury heals and
he's going to be
matches.
back. Yeah, he'll be back then because people will call and then he'll just be back.
Exactly. That's you knew exactly where I was going, because if that's the case and he comes back to finish up whatever tours they had him booked on, right, he'll have the bug again. And people are going to be like, oh, well, he's still, you know what I mean? And then he'll have some time to think it through. And so, I don't know. It's always a wild ride with Leo Rush.
Yeah, him and Kyle Lee doing a neck and neck in the amount of retirements before age of 30. So they're they're piling up quite a number here. So look out, Onita and Terry Funk. These two are starting early with retirement. So who knows? All right. Anything else? Any other quick hitters? Or is that?
Nah, I just want to touch on those two.
Oh, there you go. Quick. All right. So we'll get to New Japan here in a moment, but I do have to let everybody know that this episode of the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast is sponsored by our friends at MyBookie, and we off air discussed the Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather thing last week, and thank God we didn't do a read that week where we tried to intensely break down that thing and all the bets and all the stuff that was going to go on there, because that was an absolute disaster. But hey, that's fine, because there is plenty of other stuff for you to bet on at MyBookie. Baseball and basketball seasons are still going strong. 400 potential games a month. Each and every one matter. And everyone can have some fun at mybookie.ag. Whether you're placing a wager on your favorite team, player, or just looking for some kicks, MyBookie gives you the best odds and tons of options to make all of your favorite sports a hell of a lot more exciting. You can bet on MLB and basketball. That's something that Joe and I are near and dear to our hearts. I said that this year's NBA playoffs were going to be wild, that there was going to be upsets, that anything's up for grabs. I mean, we're going to get a new world champion. We're going to get a champion that hasn't won at least since 1983, I think, is the most recent one with the Philadelphia 76ers. So we're going to get, five of the, or half the teams left have never even won a championship in their entire careers or their entire franchise's history. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in the NBA playoffs, and baseball betting is still, going strong. Plenty of stuff that you can do in MLB as we're just getting into the swing of the season here over the next few months. But take advantage of odds, as we said, on the eBay playoffs, MLB, anything going up there. Or you can hit up the MyBookie Casino for the full-fledged experience where weekly blackjack tournaments give you and your friends a crack at prize pools up to $50,000 on those blackjack tournaments. Sounds good to me. So go to mybookie.ag, sign up now, and use our promo code VOICES to get your first deposit matched up to $1,000. So we've explained this at times, but if you don't get it, they're going to match your first deposit up to $1,000. So if you put $500 in, they're going to give you $500 free dollars. They're just going to give $500. There it is. It's yours to play with. $500 for free. You put $1,000 in, you get $1,000. You put $20 in, you guessed it, you get $20. So deposit match up to $1,000 with that promo code VOICES. So let them know we sent you. Use our promo code VOICE to get that free deposit bonus and start your day off with a win. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. MyBookie.ag, promo code VOICES. All right. Appreciate the MyBookie getting back in the mix here for the sponsors. So, all right, Joe, you ready to talk about our big man Shingo Takagi getting this big title win?
Yeah, I think Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter's this weekend, isn't it?
was that in the same thing as the, or is that a Triller thing? I am unaware of the gimmick boxing schedules these days. So
I thought Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter was this week. I could be wrong.
Oh, because it was who was last week? It was like Ocho Cinco versus whoever the fuck.
Ocho Cinco had a fight?
Yeah. I don't think it went well for him. So.
Really? I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah. I only knew like the day of, and I was like, oh boy, they have not done a great job of promoting that because I didn't even know. I think he was in that. I think he was in the Paul Mayweather thing, whatever that was. So
no way, really?
I swear to God, yeah.
Chad Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, the former Chad Johnson. Yeah.
Does he still call himself Ocho Cinco?
I think he does. Yeah.
What an absolute nerd! Like
he faced Chad Johnson.
He is Chad Johnson.
Oh no, sorry, he faced Brian Maxwell.
He lost?
He lost, yeah.
That got no fucking
nothing
buzz at all. That was on the undercard of that?
Yes, it was.
Lamar Odom, Aaron Carter's on June 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit. Is that one of those Triller deals?
I don't know. It just says possible future fight, June 22nd, Lamar Odom versus Aaron Carter.
Joe, I hate to tell you, your mic is a little scratchy. Oh God. Oh, dear God. the adventures in Joe's microphone. We'll find out in a moment. Give him a second, but anyway. Not going to ask questions again. Last time I did that, you guys had some terrible questions. So we'll just I'll just get ready here with the Shingo Takagi title win.
Just set up Shingo.
Okay, you ready? Yeah, we're good. Are you all right on your end? I just want to make sure.
Should be good.
You're good? You sound great.
Yeah.
Sound great. Anyway, all right. New Japan Dominion. 6-6, happened on 6-7. That's fine. It's all good. Things happen. We'll talk about the entire show, but I do want to start out, obviously, with the main event. Match we absolutely have to talk about in a moment. We have to absolutely talk about. Yes, it's this dumb new title, and yes, the lineages are kind of the same, but they're not really, or yada yada, whatever. All that matters at the end of the day, Shingo Takagi defeats Kazuchika Okada 36 minutes to win the vacant world title. Shingo Takagi, no matter what the title's called or whatever it is, Shingo Takagi is your main champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You and I think you said 0 chance. I think I said like 10%. Like neither of us were confident that they were going to go with Shingo whatsoever. No matter what percentages or odds we gave, neither of us were confident they were going to go with Shingo. Neither of us thought it was going to happen, and it happened. What do you think when you saw the news, and what do you think of when you saw the moment happen? And then we'll kind of talk about the match here in a bit. But let's first talk about just the moment of Shingo getting that win. Did you ever think that would happen? And did you ever see it coming when Shingo debuted in New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Well, I was stunned. I mean, obviously, I gave him 0% chance to win the match. I didn't think they'd do it here. I really thought he was just an emergency replacement in this spot so they can get it to Okada. And we talked about last week, the only real credible guy they had that they could put in there with Okada. Look, when he came to New Japan, we both said that this guy's ceiling was IWGP champion, top star, and Tokyo Dome main eventer. That was his ceiling. But we were both skeptical that they'd ever allow him to get to that point. Not being homegrown, maybe the third or fourth guy in his own unit in terms of heavyweights, age, already pushing 40 when they brought him in. A lot of things working against him. And the way that he was booked for the first couple of years where, he was booked he got some booking respect, but he didn't look like he was on a trajectory to be one of the top guys in the company. And we had been lamenting that for years because we really felt this could be a money-drawing top star. Because unlike a lot of the other people that they are getting behind and thinking about pushing or actively pushing, he actually has a track record of drawing money, which is unusual for them to bring a guy in who has, the last guy that they brought in with a track record, a proven track record of drawing money in Japan was probably Omega, right? I mean, it's probably the last one.
Yeah, I was trying to think of guys that have come into the company. I mean, you can even go back prior to Omega, and it's really hard to find. It's like, Kojima, you know what I mean, right? Like, you really have to really dig in. Yeah, it's definitely Omega's probably the last guy that I can think off the top of mind, or Kota Ibushi, obviously, would. Depending on how you define him coming to the company and when you kind of define that happening.
Omega and Ibushi probably, because AJ Styles, no track record of drawing money in Japan or elsewhere. I mean, nowhere really. I mean,
right.
He never really drew money in Impact. At least on a meaningful level. You mentioned Kojima, but he was obviously originally a New Japan guy and then left because of Inokiism and then came back. So I think he's a little bit of a different case.
Mm-hmm.
If this guy Shingo comes in, he's got a proven drawing record in Japan of being able to draw on the top of cards. But there were a lot of things working against him. And we said many times on this show, we didn't think they would ever do it. As I've been talking about over the last few months, my opinion on that changed with the Will Ospreay feud because it just looked like the kind of booking that they do to set somebody up. So he beats Ospreay once, but then he eats a bunch of losses to the guy. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is what they do. This has been the pattern with Gato. This guy's probably going to beat Ospreay for this title at some point is what it looked like to me. I was confident at that point that at some point they were going to pull the trigger on him. So my mindset changed once he got into the Ospreay feud, but I never thought that they would do it this soon. And I never thought they would do it over Okada. Now, maybe they didn't plan to do it over Okada. Maybe Ospreay would have beaten Okada in the Dome and stayed a couple more days and then lost to Shingo. It sure seems like Ospreay was leaving after the Okada match. That seems to be every indication, but who knows? Maybe they just changed their minds once the Ospreay thing happened and said, well, let's just, put it on Shingo now. I don't know. But the bottom line is I never thought that they would put the title on him this soon, and I never thought that they would do it in this spot. I'm glad that they did. He more than deserves it. He has more than earned it. I still believe he's a potential, but he is a top guy in the company now. I mean,
yeah, we're there. I mean, we're fucking there. Today's the day. It's there.
And moving forward from there as well, I think that he can be a top guy. It's really a shame that this was the year where Kota Ibushi and Will Ospreay and Shingo all got their massive elevations under these circumstances. It really is a shame because this was, as I've written about a million times in the book Behind the Paywall, was really the beginning of a new era for New Japan. The last 18 to 24 months or so. And this year was really a pivotal year for that. And they went all the way with these three guys who are going to be part of that next wave of people expected to headline and draw moving forward. And all three of their elevations just totally got fucked by COVID and partial crowds and clap crowds. And none of their title reigns are going to feel as hot as they should as a result. And it's a bad break for the company. It's a bad break for these three guys. And it's like you can't stall and hold off forever because when will things be back to normal? Nobody knows, especially in Japan where somehow they were ahead of the curve, and now they're like behind the rest of the world in terms of getting better. At least the rest of the wrestling world, where Australia has looked sound for a long time now, months and months. US is doing full crowds, and we look, our vaccination's going great. And now all of a sudden Japan is lagging behind. And, those three guys, it's just the timing is awful. And, I watched this show and it's all the same things that have been plaguing New Japan still plague them. The show still felt dry, still felt emotionless. It still felt sterile.
Long. Their matches all just feel so long, and it's
and
just
I get it. They're trying to give the paying customer their money's worth. I get it, but it's like this didn't feel like the Shingo coronation that it should have felt like to me. It felt weird, just like a lot of the other title changes this year felt weird, and Ibushi's title reign felt weird, and Will Ospreay's felt weird, and now this one felt weird too. And I feel bad for all three of those guys, and I feel bad for the company because I really think this year in New Japan would have been incredible with Kota Ibushi, Will Ospreay, and Shingo being elevated like this, with Naito out of the way, with Jay White out of the way, with Okada out of the way. They're all given room to breathe. The crowd reactions to these guys, and it just would have been such a great year. And it was taken from them, and it was taken from us, and it sucks. Because honestly, it's the complete opposite. It hasn't been a great year in New Japan. There have been some great matches, despite the sterile environments. But the Kota Ibushi title reign did not go well. The Will Ospreay title win and short reign had some great matches, but you had the awkward B. Priestley angle, and then you had Will Ospreay abandoning the title. And now this Shingo beats Okada. And quite honestly, I didn't even think it was a great match, but I guess that's our next topic after you speak on this a bit. I didn't think it was a great match, and I thought the title win didn't come off like the great coronation it should have, and it just sucks. It sucks for all three guys. It sucks for the company. And most importantly to me, because I'm fan first, it sucks for us, the fans, that we were robbed of these great moments and these great title reigns and these great elevations. Because you can't rebottle that.
No. And that's, I think that's something that I'll always remember about this year. And you brought it up perfectly. Like, the Kota Ibushi thing seems so long ago, doesn't it? Like Kota Ibushi winning at Wrestle Kingdom and winning both the titles, that seems like a century ago. Where it's June. It was 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And it feels like so long ago. And it feels like such a blip. And it feels like so forgotten and so not important and so not focused on. And this Will one, I don't know. I mean, from distance, the Will one might just be, we might always talk about it because of him, abandoning the title or vacating the title or whatever. So that one might always be remembered as well. But yeah, we have two, first-time title reigns from two tremendous pro wrestlers, guys that you and I both love. Many people listen to the show. Most people listening to the show love, their in-ring work, all that sort. These are two guys that have been carefully elevated for years and years and years and carefully brought up through the company or whatever. And both those guys' title reigns are just going to be the footnotes and afterthoughts when it's all said and done. And that sucks because, like you said, those first times is so important. And that is a big reason why I did not think they were going to go with Shingo on this night, because it's like, all right, look, you've done two title reigns already this year of first-time guys that you've elevated, and neither has gone particularly well. The Kota one was a disaster on many levels. The Will one also, had some good matches, but also I would largely consider a disaster as well. So, go with the safe pick. Go with Okada. Tread water for as long as you can, and then when you're ready for Shingo next year, and you hope and pray and fingers crossed that things are back to normal, that's when then you elevate him, because you've already elevated two guys this entire year. Do I blame them for saying, hey, we don't know when things are going to get back to normal. We don't know when things are going to get back on track. We need some juice. We need to do something interesting. Let's just go with Shingo. I can't blame them for that thought, but to me, it did feel a little, I don't want to say deflating, because it was a really cool moment, and I'm glad he got there, and I'm obviously a lifelong Shingo fan, so it's just incredible to see it. But it did just feel like, another one of these this year, and it's I don't know. At the end of the year, and maybe we'll see. Maybe Shingo goes on and has an incredible reign, and we look like idiots, and he has a great run, and he brings life back to the company, and he's out there and he holds the title for a year and a half. Or it could be incredible. It could be the beginning of an incredible title reign. But right now, I don't know the correct terminology, but it just doesn't. it doesn't feel the way I wanted it to feel. And the Will one didn't feel that way either. I mean, the Will one absolutely did not feel that way either, because it came right after the B Priestley thing, which was a stupid angle on all fronts. And then when he won it, it was just like, God, it was just like annoying, and everybody was arguing and being idiots about it, and on both sides. And it was just like, it was so deflating. And now, you know, the Shingo one has been cool because people have kind of rallied together. And I think most people that watch New Japan are like in favor of this and in favor of Shingo winning and hoping that he kind of gets things back on track and that he's a good champion and whatnot. So it's cool from that aspect, but it does, I don't know, it does feel like something is missing from this and from New Japan still. But for the first time in a long time, I was actually somewhat excited about talking New Japan on this show, at least because we have this news of Shingo winning and at least the hope that he goes on a relatively long run here and has a really, really good run. Because, I mean, he's been an incredible wrestler this year. I mean, I think he's no doubt the wrestler of the year, no doubt the most outstanding. I think that the most outstanding, 100%. He's got that locked in. I think even pre-G1, you know, wrestler of the year, we'll see. There's other guys that could be contenders. But, yeah, so it's cool to have that coronation. It's cool for him to kind of put that stamp on his career. But I'm with you, though. In one breath, it was like, oh, hell yeah, Shingo won, and the crowd gasps, and they make noise like they haven't made in years. But then, at the end of the day, it's still this current New Japan. It's still, you know, some of the stuff on the undercard is still not great and still not kind of lighting my world on fire. But I'm trying to at least look somewhat positive here, and I am happy that Shingo won. But I think I need a little bit more out of New Japan to be fully back in, quote unquote.
Yeah, he's definitely the front runner for in-ring wrestler of the year, with Ospreay being on the shelf, so he's not going to wrestle for months and months. Hiromu has been on the shelf for months and months. He'll come back, but I don't know if he'll have time to do enough. In the case of Hiromu, the one advantage Hiromu will have over Will Ospreay, assuming he has great matches, which why wouldn't you assume that, is that his will be on the back end. They'll be fresher in people's minds, whereas Ospreay's great matches will be on the front end of the year and less fresh in people's minds. You know, and then you look, there's no one in WWE who's realistic for that. Kenny Omega obviously is a contender, but really there's nobody else in AEW. Well, maybe Darby. Don't count out Darby. Like, he's a sneaky one. I don't think he'll win, but I think Darby's a strong contender for, like, the MVP version of Wrestler of the Year. That's a sneaky one. I think it'd be Darby, Kenny Omega. It's hard with Japan because it's hard to quantify how people are drawing. But yeah, Shingo is got to be the favorite right now for in-ring wrestler of the year. There's no question about it. You know, so from that standpoint, for sure, it just feels cold, and that's not his fault. It's not the company's fault. There's just no way around it under these circumstances. And, you know, you just hope that moving forward, because eventually Japan will come out of this like everybody else will. You just hope moving forward that it doesn't, you know, the lack of the big coronations for all three of these guys doesn't hurt them moving forward. Because it's hard to tell if fans are behind these moves or not. I mean, we have such little evidence to go on. There's no reason to think they wouldn't have been behind Kota Ibushi as champion. Tokyo Dome sold all the tickets they could sell. There's no reason to think they wouldn't have been behind Will Ospreay. He's always been a very popular foreigner. And, you know, his one title defense with Shingo sold out, quote unquote, instantly. But there's only so much stock you can put in that. And Shingo, it remains to be seen. And not just those three, but remember, this is year 2 of this now. Don't forget, Tetsuya Naito's big coronation, a month later, his title reign is ruined with COVID. When he finally gets it done in the Tokyo Dome against Okada, wins the double dome, gets his big moment, he gets one title defense against Kenta, and then his title reign is ruined. And then the whole summer of LIJ. We didn't like the evil stuff, but the LIJ fans lost all of that to COVID with the big evil Tetsuya Naito feud, which for all we know would have been fucking red hot. And New Japan missed out on that as well. And the LIJ fans had that taken from them. The whole Tetsuya Naito evil saga. So it's not just 2021. 2020 also totally fucked up for a lot of fans of New Japan. And, you know, so it's been a disaster for them. I know a few weeks ago we talked about there's no other promotion that has been hurt as badly by COVID as New Japan. I mean, we completely whiffed on CMLL, which I think takes that home in a fucking route.
Yeah.
But outside of CMLL,
who essentially don't exist. As long as COVID has been along, CMLL has basically not existed. So that's not good.
Yeah, I mean that's just been But they've been so poorly they've been so badly hurt by COVID that I forgot they existed. In all honesty, which is why I didn't bring them up when we had that discussion. Because they're so out of sight, out of mind that I literally forgot they existed. So they're number one with a bullet, but New Japan is number two. And I don't know. I might put, number three would be a good argument. You'd either go with Big Japan. I think Big Japan. They nearly went out of business. Number one.
Right, they're raising money so they could put fucking gas in their van to drive around. I mean, that's pretty low. So
and no moment, that whole roster has COVID now. I mean, it's been a disaster in Big Japan. Either them, maybe Ring of Honor. They didn't run for a year. They've got no buzz now that they're back. So those would be like your contenders. That's the rest of your top five destroyed by COVID promotions. I'd go CMLL, New Japan, number 1 and 2, easy, and then I'd go like Big Japan, Ring of Honor. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but that would like round out the top five who I think have been hurt the most by it. And it's just what sucks the most for New Japan is this really would have been such a cool, exciting, vibrant, fresh coat of paint year and a real turning point year to see, okay, are they going to retain this momentum in this new era, or is this going to be just a new promotion that doesn't have the same feel and magic that it did for the previous decade? And because of COVID, we don't know.
Yeah, it's just made it hard to kind of judge things, and it was like I said, it was cool in the match when it was over to hear that gasp and the crowd kind of breaking from the silence and breaking from the clapping a little bit as they were kind of stunned. But then they go right back to just doing the clapping and all that sort of stuff, and it's gonna be a tough ride. I mean, I think at least from my standpoint, I'm a little bit more positive about New Japan than I have been in quite a while, just because Shingo as the champion means that we're getting at least presumably big time main event Shingo singles matches. That sounds great to me. There's some stuff that they booked in Kazuna Road that has me a little interested as well. So I'm not all the way back in. You know what I mean? It's going to take a little bit more, and it might not be that way for the rest of this year. But at least to me, and it was kind of cool. It does feel like for the first time in what feels like a while, there is a champion that a lot of people are just like, hey, that's awesome. That guy deserves it. That guy is clearly the best guy in this company. That was always our argument last year with the Evil thing, where you and I said, like, to me, that title, being whatever the IWG, whatever the name of it is at this time, or whatever, being the top champion in Japan, that means you're one of the best guys. You're not the best guy in that company. It never felt like Evil was that for us, and that was always kind of a thing that sucked, and has taken a while to kind of get that thing back. But I think with Shingo there, he to me does feel like one of the top guys in that company, and does feel like one of the best wrestlers in that company, and does feel like one of the more important guys in that company. So it, for the first time in a long time, does feel like we have that guy. And for whatever reason, I mean, for Will, there was always, there's always going to be Will stuff. There's always going to be this Will annoyance stuff, and him winning the title immediately after the B thing did not help at all. And Kota Ibushi was just like a complete afterthought, which sucks because it was like the parade. It was a great moment when he won it, and then within a month, he was doing just the worst shit ever with this title. It made no sense at all, and he feels like a complete afterthought, even though he probably fit all that criteria that I was talking about where Shingo fit. But no, I mean, I'm excited for Shingo doing it, and I'm excited to see what matches we have here. But yeah, it will, cautiously optimistic, I think, is probably the best way I can say about New Japan right now. So,
and they're set up pretty well for when Ospreay comes back.
Oh, they're great, yeah.
Because in kayfabe, he's got Shingo's number. Like, he just owns Shingo in kayfabe. And he's already cutting Twitter promos, calling Shingo an interim champ. That
right.
stuff's
He's
so
all
good.
the way back in. He's all the way back in,
Yeah.
by the way, if you don't think he's already back.
It's pretty obvious at this point that our reporting was accurate all along.
Oh, who would have thought? I thought he was going to NXT UK, but that's all right.
But, the interim champ stuff I think is great because he really has owned Shingo. So that's the perfect heel thing to say. Like, you're not the real champ. You're keeping my belt warm, But on the other hand, Okada has owned him. So you have a lot of ways to go with Will Ospreay when he comes back. He feels like he's superior to Shingo and he wants to take that title, his title back. Perfect story. But then there's that cloud hanging over Ospreay at all times of he feels inferior to Okada. So when he comes back, they're set up nicely. And it's looking more and more. I know this is you can all blame me if I jinx this. Blame me on what I'm about to say. But it's looking more and more like the Evil thing was just intended to be a hot summer program for Naito. I really don't think they see him at that level.
No, I have that exact note in my, because as we're going to talk about stuff going on in Kazuna Road, I mean, the level at which Evil is in this company and even in his own unit, I think is very telling to me. Yeah.
Now it's dangerous to say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they could just be keeping him out of things for now, and for all I know, he might be the guy that beats Shingo now because we said it. But my gut is telling me that was intended to be a hot summer program for Naito. It got fucked up because of COVID, because they ran the baseball, they ran Jingu, the baseball stadium and all that. And they probably felt that a Naito Evil program with Evil betraying Naito and turning on him was an easy way to do big business in the summer of 2020 until the G1, and then they get back on track with whatever they're going to do. That's what it feels like to me, with the benefit of hindsight of it being a year ago, especially with the elevation of all these guys, since. Because I don't know how much Evil is worth if he's not feuding with Naito.
Yeah. Well, and I guess my question to you is, do you think that was the plan? Was always, hey, we'll just have him do this, hot 6-month run with Naito, then he'll lose the title back, and then he'll just go back to doing whatever he was before? Or did it not work? Did they think that they were elevating a guy, and then it didn't work, and now this is sort of where they see him at this point?
I don't know. I don't think they look. I think that's just not how they book. I mean, I think. My gut is telling me they thought it would be a real hot. They had 4 matches, so
don't remind me. I'm aware. Yeah, I remember. Unfortunately,
I think they felt like that was a hot program that was going to carry the company through the summer and draw big money for people paying to see this LIJ versus LIJ feud, and I don't feel like. Because there's no way to determine whether he was hot or not.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, they also don't, and again, like, things have all obviously very much changed over the last few years with New Japan booking, especially in the last 2, but they don't usually elevate a guy out of nowhere, give him the title, and then de-elevate him after that. You know what I mean? Like, that's also rare in this company as well. Guys come and go, and guys will leave the company or whatever, but I can't off the top of my head remember any guy of recent vintage who was elevated.
This booking. Well, here's the thing. You can't do that feud unless he wins the title. How do you get 4 matches out of that if Naito keeps beating him? So that's kind of the heat was he took the guy's title.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean.
Well, and that's why I think that if you make that decision that he's going to win that title, that you then have to say, okay, we think this is a guy. We think this is a dude. And, I'm with you right now that as of, June 9th, 2021, I don't think they see him as a dude anymore. So I don't know if there was initially an idea of making him a dude and it didn't work, or the idea was, hey, we're going to do this, and then he'll just be kind of a guy after that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, it's just so hard to tell. My gut also tells me that the Naito Evil matches all would have drawn money. I can't prove it. None of us can prove it beyond, they sold all the limited tickets they could sell. But I feel like that feud, at least the early matches, would have drawn big money. I think that baseball stadium show would have done a huge number. The gimmick of being in the baseball stadium, number one, and Naito Evil being in this feud, being part of that. But again, we can't quantify any of this. I don't know. That's why all of this sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't get the sense. Now, look, he's a former champion, which means he'll always be presented in kayfabe as a threat to win the title again. But will he, in reality, be a guy who can win the title again? I don't get that sense. But now you can throw Evil into a title match once a year, and people will buy him as a credible threat because he's done it before. And look, we may look foolish. Okay, so we know Shingo's facing Ibushi because he came out after the match, right?
Correct.
So, but for all we know, he beats Ibushi and then loses to Evil. I mean,
I hate it. Stop.
We may have talked this back into existence.
Stop.
But anyway, I guess we should talk about the match, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the match. So obviously Okada and Shingo, main event of Dominion, goes 36 minutes here. Shingo gets the win. He hits his move, and pins Okada. Clean the middle of the ring. I like that. It didn't take 17 different Last of the Dragons. Didn't take a bunch of pumping bombers. He hit the move and pinned this guy, defeated him. But I thought this was good, not great. I saw some people say, 5 stars, match of the year. I don't think it was on that level. I think it's probably going to get votes and be pretty high up in our list. But Shingo's on an incredible run. He's had an insane year when you actually look at it in totality, which we'll have to do at some point pretty soon. I know you're going to do a write-up of, you kind of do your mid-year, rest of the year write-ups and stuff. And I think that's going to be a good opportunity for you to really look in and dig in deep of what Shingo's done. And maybe we'll do it on the show around that time as well. But I mean, you really go and look at what this guy's done this year alone. I mean, he is so far and ahead, the MVP of New Japan and really the MVP of wrestling in general. So he, I think, has had better matches this year. And I think these guys have a better match in them. But I mean, with that said, I still enjoyed it. I really, really liked it. I thought Okada did some great work here, despite him being a broken down shell of his former self, yada, yada, on his last legs or whatever. Anytime there's a big time match, he goes out there and has 40 minutes of decent performances. Shingo was Shingo. I mean, he's one of the best in the world right now, if not the best in the world right now. 36 minutes is maybe a little long for me. Maybe it didn't have to go 36, but I really don't have a ton of complaints about this match. It's one of those ones that didn't quite get to that level. I think the thing that hit me is when the match was over, it hits me with a lot of these New Japan matches. Some can break this mold and some are fine and it doesn't matter and they're good on their own merits. But when that match was over, the first thought to me was, God damn it, I wish this match was in front of crowds. Because I could just see this being so much better with the crowd living and dying by every near fall and living in Okada hits a dropkick out of nowhere and the crowd explodes. You know what I mean? Like that's and you didn't get that and you want that and you expect it and you kind of look for it in New Japan and it doesn't happen and it really was deflating when it's all done. So this is definitely a match that I think improves tremendously in front of a crowd. With that said, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, and I think these two definitely do have a better match in them, and I'd like to see it happen in a big-time show again.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I watched it and it was 87 degrees in my house and the repairman kept bugging me. But maybe it's just because of I struggle so hard to get into New Japan right now. But, I watched a bunch of wrestling today. I had one notebook match and this wasn't it. I thought it was a good match. I thought they didn't fill the 36 minutes particularly well. I thought it was the least interesting match that these two have had against each other by a mile. I thought that, Shingo once lost to the Money Clip in a tremendous finish. And I don't think they teased the Money Clip finish hard enough. I mean, that's easy. That's a layup. He already beat the guy. Almost
never. Yeah, I'm trying to remember in the match now if they did, and they briefly kind of did, but not enough to.
Shingo scrambled to the ropes very quickly.
Right. It wasn't really sunk in the middle of the ring, and you thinking, oh my god, he's not going to get out of it. It was like, yeah, you said he knew it was coming and immediately got to the ropes and broke it up. So yeah.
How do you not repeat the spot that ended the G1 match? You know what I mean? Like the one time the Money Clip was effective and worked and people were into it and you don't go back to that spot. That was weird. I'm sure with a hot, vibrant mouth sounds crowd, I would have been a little more into it, but I had other issues with the match. Now look, I don't think it was a bad match, but egregiously long considering the way that they didn't fill the time. Man, I'd go like 3.25.
Wow.
Maybe 3.5. I didn't love the match at all. I thought it was a good match. I didn't even think it was a very good. I just thought it was a good match with two pros who were like, we got to somehow fill 36 and they couldn't figure out how. I mean, I thought this was the least interesting big Shingo match this year by far. I thought it was the least interesting match between these two. I thought they worked hard. This wasn't like a G1 Okada performance. He bumped all over the place. He worked hard.
He took a lot of big bumps, as I would say.
That wasn't my issue.
Right.
My issue was just the match was kind of dull. And yeah, maybe the stress of my day had something to do with it. But then again, I don't see tremendous reviews for this match.
No, I was going to say, like, I've seen very few people say that it's like, oh, 5 stars, incredible. And that was a lot of that was like in the moment and people that I was following on Twitter as I was kind of watching it live. But very little did you as we've kind of, gone now, it's been, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever. I'm seeing a lot of 4, 4.5, 4.25. I mean, and that's kind of I'm at 4.25. Like I'm not really like throwing roses on this thing either. But yeah, you don't see what you would expect, from this big coronation, this big match, and what Shingo's been doing this entire year, which has been pretty much universally loved by most people that really truly enjoy New Japan Pro Wrestling and really have an open mind to it. Like people have absolutely loved everything that Shingo's done this year. So. It wasn't on that level. It definitely, like I said, it feels like the lesser of a lot of Shingo's big time matches this year. And I don't know if that's just because Shingo's had a tremendous run. For me, I think it's more because Shingo's had a tremendous run this year. You seem to be more that, even in a vacuum, you don't think that this match was all that tremendous. Whether or not Shingo's had it, without the context of Shingo's incredible year that he's had.
No. Look, no. I just didn't. The match never grabbed me, and I just think, okay, a lot of times, let me put it to you this way. Here's another good point I want to make. A lot of times a constant critique of Okada is he does nothing for the first 2/3 of the match. And I almost never agree with it. This time I agree with it. They did nothing the first 2/3 of this match. Very lazily worked for the first 2/3, I thought, and lazy from the perspective of doing shit that built towards the finish. I don't think they did it all. I mean, there was a lot of lazy holds and things like that. Now, when they went into transition spots and high spots and things like that, they worked hard. They took big bumps. So I don't mean lazy from the perspective of, we'll talk about people who were lazy later on this show. But I thought match structure-wise, it wasn't – you expect better out of these two. I don't know. I just didn't love the match. I don't know how else to put it. I thought it was a nice little 3.5-star world title match that greatly underwhelmed to my expectations. I guess I'll wrap it up with that.
There you go. So there we got Shingo and Okada. As we said, Kota Ibushi comes down after, challenges Shingo. So that match presumably happening at some point very soon. I don't know if they made it official or the date. I maybe they did. And I don't even know. But anyway, that's I always kind of thought that was going to be the feud a long time ago as well. Because if you remember, Kota Ibushi was doing commentary for a bunch of shows, and Shingo would come down and talk shit to him, and they felt like that was the way they were going to go. And then they obviously went in the Will direction as well. But now we are getting to the Kota Shingo match.
Hey, look, Will going home could have really fucked everything up they wanted to do. Who knows? Yeah,
it could have. They may have had to rip everything up that they had, and they probably did. I mean, he was. I'm sure. I mean, he was the fucking champion when he left. I'm sure he was in the mix for something. And if presumably he's not back by G1. I mean, you got to rip the whole G1 up too. I mean, that just changes everything up to Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, so, whatever you had planned for that. Yeah, whatever big outcomes that Ospreay's matches, that his important matches were going to have to lead to other things, you have to throw them out the window. Yeah, it's a total mess. He'll probably come back before he should, just knowing his mindset. The next big thing to see is the next time Rev Pro runs a show, because allegedly he's going to make a statement. So we'll see what's going, because he's got that title, then they have to deal with that. So they put out that tweet a few weeks ago. So he'll make some kind of statement on the next Rev show and decide what he's doing with that version of the world title. And then that'll give us more of a clue in terms of timeline when New Japan could potentially get him back.
Yeah.
But he keeps saying, I'm going to be back before the end of the year. I'm going to be back before the end of the year. I mean, he's just got that wrestler psychopath mindset. He'll probably come back way before he should. And he probably, I would suspect, because isn't the G1 pushed back anyway because of the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this year. Yeah, I don't. Well, I know obviously it was last year because I think it is this year, but I'm honestly, me and the New Japan schedule have not been in sync this year.
The chat room when they hear this will give us the answer quickly, but especially if the G1 is pushed back, because if it is, then that's going to be his goal, I would think. And New Japan, from a booking perspective, will breathe a sigh of relief, because then whatever stories they were going to tell with him and everybody else in the G1, they could still tell if he makes it back for that. I'm still stalling, and no one's answering. So
I'd imagine it would be because of the Olympics, but I don't know. Yeah, I know that everything got changed last year for the Olympics, and I imagine the same thing is going to happen this year, where the venues that they want to run aren't going to be available and all yada yada and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know if the Olympics are going to happen either. I think no matter what, Japan's going to try to make them happen. But that's a disaster too. So keep an eye on that. So we're what, 5-6 weeks away from the Olympics presumably starting. So
ugh.
Yeah, Gonna be fun.
Well, I'm kind of pumped about that Team USA baseball team. It looks fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It
Todd
cool.
Frazier at third base and Homer Bailey toting the rubber.
It's just funny because people are like, yeah, these guys kind of stink. And it's like, yeah, but like, it's during the actual season, so it's got to be guys that are not in the league anymore or recently released, and it can't be like guys from 5 years ago because those dudes are not in shape anymore. They haven't done it, like especially like baseball is a tough sport to not play for 5 years and then get back up and do it. So it's got to be like your recently cast off guys, and they have to be Americans, and that's like where people are like, oh man, that guy sucks, and it's like, there's not a whole lot of like
Who'd you think they were going to get?
Right, there's not like a ton of great American players that are, recently, retired or not on teams. Like, I'm like, who do you want? A lot of these guys played last year and played pretty okay. What do you want? You got major leaguers who did pretty okay last year. It's not, you could do a lot worse. Well, the Todd Frazier, I didn't even know Todd Frazier was on a team this year. He was, where was he this year?
Yeah, he was just on the Pirates this year.
The Pirates, that's it. Yeah, he was talking shit about because he got released, and I remember, did you see that? Like some, one of the Pirates radio guys was like, what a waste of money.
Would have hooked up somewhere else, but they chose not to sign with other teams because they chose to play on the Olympic team. What you basically have is a bunch of rich guys who made their money already, who are living out their Olympic dream.
Yeah, which is cool.
That's basically you have.
Yeah, which rules. That's I love it. I'm an unabashed Olympics fan. I don't like the asset. Like I don't want my city to host the Olympics. I don't really want to pay the IOC and yada all that sort of stuff. But goddamn, I love watching the Olympics. So
that's going to be fun. And there's also some minor leaguers on the team that teams have allowed to do it. They're like, okay, go play in the Olympics, that's fine, and then come back when the Olympics are over. So it's not just a team of scrubs. There's some high-level minor leaguers, and, well, I shouldn't say high-level. There's no top prospects playing on this team. But
they're as high as they are for the team to say, we don't really care, go play in the Olympics, which means they're not that high. But
yeah, there's some mid-level prospects and some guys who played in the majors as recently as a couple weeks ago. And like you said, that's the best you're going to do under these circumstances. We're in the middle of the fucking season. Who do you think's going to play in this thing? It's either that or college kids.
Yeah,
this team would be better than the college kids.
Absolutely, I'd definitely rather have this. Yeah, I'm an unabashed Olympics fan. There's a lot of stuff that I was really looking forward to. 3-on-3 basketball was a thing this year for the first time. Yeah, did you see? I linked the story in the Slack. I don't know if you saw it, but they the Red Bull and a bunch of other sponsors bought this giant mansion in Beverly Hills or somewhere in LA for the USA 3-on-3 team to live together and train together. They were ex-NBA, or they were ex-college guys too. Hold on, let me get. Did you see these guys at all?
Was it Robbie Hummel on
Robbie Hummel was one of them, yeah, and the other guy was the grandson or of something of Rick Barry. I forget if he was a Brent or John Barry son, but like, yeah, it was like a really, really cool, like they got this team together, they put him in this mansion, and it's like, it's America, it's a different game 3-on-3, but hell, it's still American, basketball players, and we own the sport, and yada yada, and they fucking lost in the qualifying tournament. I was like,
yeah, won't even be in it.
God damn it. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like,
well, Robbie Hummel is most famous for tearing his ACL 2 years in a row at Purdue.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of those years he did it at the Midnight Madness practice doing a dunk contest. So that was ill-advised.
For sure.
He was a real NBA prospect. He ended up playing in the NBA anyway.
Yeah, he got a little run. Yeah, not too much, but enough.
But he was a real NBA prospect before he blew out both of his knees in back-to-back years. And just the fact he made it all the way to the NBA anyway, tells you how highly regarded he was. But that was like a decade ago. I can't imagine what a modern-day Robbie Hummel looks like today.
He looked like he was keeping himself in some decent shape, but yeah.
You watched some of it?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah. And they were not great, and I was a little disappointed. I'm like, come on, like these are the best three guys we could find. Like, it was, you know what I mean? Like,
where did they dig up Robbie Hummel?
I know, like you couldn't just like. I feel like you can find three decent guys to play basketball in the country of America, like that aren't Robbie Hummel. Like, I don't know. It's just like, no offense to Robbie Hummel, but like,
I've got an idea. How about the last three cuts for the actual U.S. men's Olympic basketball
right,
team?
That's what I mean. Like something like that, or I mean, hell, there's that fucking Ice Cube's Big 3 league. I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all old guys, but a few of those dudes can play, and there's tournaments all over the place. There's AAU. There's guys that are playing in Europe and stuff. Like we can find real guys. But
probably love the chance. Look, your Todd Frazier NBA equivalents would probably love to do something.
Yeah, and those guys are in the prime of their careers and ready to go. But
right,
they chose Robbie Hummel, the grandson of Rick Barry, and some other guys, and They lost, so. But I'm still excited to watch some 3-on-3 basketball, though. So, yeah, I'm an unabashed Olympics fan, and I don't have to... I mean, when that shit's on, it's perfect. Because, like, you know how, like, we always talk about when just loving putting a game on, even if it's not, like, something you care about or a team. Like, some people are like, I only watch my teams or I only watch this sport. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, I was watching college baseball this all weekend. I mean, I have no affinity for any of these teams. I don't care. But, you know, I turned it on. College baseball was on. I was like, all right, cool. South Alabama versus fucking, Liberty. All right, let's do it. Like, let's go. So...
And the best thing about Olympics on the other side of the globe is there's live actual sports on it. Like
anytime you want. You're like, fuck, I'll watch fencing. Who cares? Yeah. And then, they do a good job of telling you about fencing. You learn about some of the, there's any of those sports is pretty fun. There's some fucking luge going on at any point. If you're watching the Winter Olympics, there's biking going. I mean, there's so much stuff going on with the Olympics. I'm a big fan. So, other than the disastrous, especially this year in particular going on in Japan, but hey, not my problem. All right, let's talk about the other stuff on Dominion. You watched the entire show. I watched the entire show. We had the opener. Bullet Club, Chase Owens, El Phantasmo, Evil, and Taiji Ishimori, and Yujiro Takahashi defeating the Chaos team of Hiroki Goto, Sho, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi. And they brought Hiroshi Tanahashi along for the ride. This is 11 minutes, Joe, and I have nothing to say. Take it away.
Well, it's just a post-match beatdown sets up the next never open weight 6-man challengers. That's all. That's the takeaway here. So, it looks like some Bullet Club combination will be next in line.
Yeah, well, we actually have that exact match. I'll mention it here in a little bit with the Kazuma Road. I think they made that official. So there you go.
So what is it? What's the match?
It's going to be Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroki Goto versus, and this is why I mentioned, I put the note about Evil, Yujiro, and Dick Togo. What a fucking
I did see
trio.
That. Yeah, it's
Jesus
terrible team.
Christ.
But it's like I always say about these titles, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like these titles should be wacky combinations. It has never bothered me.
I wish they weren't bad combinations, though. That sounds horrendous.
It is horrendous. This might be the worst team to ever challenge for him, and that's saying a lot.
Wacky was like the Kojima, Ricochet, Matt Sydal. That unit was, like that I like. Or even Yoshihashi, Ishii, and Goto is wacky. This is just fucking putrid. Evil Yujiro and Dick Togo. Yeah.
I want to be clear. It's a terrible fucking team, but I also don't care. It's like, and I really don't look, especially with the state of their roster. I mean, you got to cut them a break here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
they're on their last legs here in terms of having, and this card is very notable for who was not on the show or nowhere to be found in the show as well. So,
you know what I'd like? You know who I'd like to see challenge for those titles? Togo, Gato, and Jado.
Oh, that's yes. Now I'm in. Get Evil and Yujiro's broke asses out of there. I want old school. Yeah, that's up my alley. Gato, Jado, and Dick Togo. That fucking rules. And they could throw it back too. You know what I mean? You can get a cortisone shot in Jado maybe. Get him going. I don't know. Yeah, you can get Dick Togo. I think Dick Togo and Goto could go for one.
But Dick Togo can still go.
Yeah, he can go, and Gato can.
It's fine. Yeah,
you got to give a little cortisone shot to Jado, but honestly, you don't even need Jado. He can come in.
It's a 6-man match.
Right,
take it twice. So I mean that'd be a wacky.
Yeah, they got a main event. They got a main event some town with that one. Go to some old Michinoku Pro Town or something like that and do it. So
yeah,
that'd be tight. Yeah, actually, that sounds incredible. But alas. All right, we'll move on now. Bushi, Sanada, and Naito defeat the Suzuki-gun team of Doki, Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr. And as we kind of predicted last week, and we're saying, we might be right about this, but we'll see. It does appear that Sanada and Naito are going for the tag team titles because they had a little stare down after this match as well. So Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sanada and Tetsuya Naito happening presumably pretty soon, and I'm all for it. We have been screaming as long as this podcast has existed. We've been saying, do this with the tag teams. Instead of just using the same 4 tag teams, or the same 2 tag teams over and over and over again, guys, main eventers that aren't doing anything, put them in a team, have them go for those titles. Maybe they win them, maybe they don't. Hell, if they win them, you go on a fun little run with them. You draw some houses with them. You do whatever. And it appears that they are at least going in that direction temporarily here with Sanada and Naito going after the titles of Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. I'm in for it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm all about this. This is good. Not doing anything with Naito anyway.
Yeah.
This is something semi-important. Well, it is important. It's tag team titles.
Yeah, make them important. I mean, fuck, you make them important. If Tetsuya Naito holds them, they're important. So
a lot of the Gaijins are going home and won't be on the next tour, so you don't have God in the picture anyway, and that really needed a change up, and regardless. So it's a fresh match. Yeah, I have no problem with this.
No rules. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title match. You mentioned this one a little bit earlier. El Desperado defeats Yo 23 minutes and 40 seconds, Joe. I know that you did not like this. You talked about it a little bit earlier. I enjoyed this match in the context of I really just wish it was like 15 minutes long and not 23 minutes long. There was a long stretch of time where they are clearly just filling time, clearly just, going through the motions here. Not a lot of effort going in here. And there was points where I enjoyed this match. There was parts that I really, really liked about it. Just in no universe did this need to go 23 minutes and 40 seconds. It absolutely, at multiple times, took me out of it. And by the end, I was just kind of ready for it to be over, which stunk because there was parts that I enjoyed. And there was aspects of it that I enjoyed. But goddamn, 23 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, again, you know, maybe the circumstances I watched it in, but I couldn't get into this at all. I thought it was dull. I thought it was dull as dirt. I'm not a big Yo fan to begin with.
See, I thought he was okay here. I thought he wasn't bad.
I mean, he's never bad. I'm just not a big fan of his as a singles guy. I don't know. It didn't do much for me. Maybe like a 3-star match, a long 3-star match. I don't know. I don't even have any thoughts on it.
I the things I would say is I think Desperado's offense was really good in this. I think Yo did a really good job of selling as well. Yo's offense is always tough, and there were large parts of this match where he's putting offense on Desperado, and he hasn't quite gotten that yet, and that's something that Sho blows him away in. I think Sho's offense is pretty damn good. Yo has never quite gotten to that level for him. Yo does a great job of selling, and Yo does a great job of kind of working underneath and that sort of stuff. And when he was doing that in this match, I enjoyed it because Desperado was so good at being on offense. But yeah, there were large portions of this match where Yo's got offense on Desperado that were just boring as all sin, where they're just, he's sitting in a lay grapevine and just rearing it in and rearing it in and rearing it in, and it's like, all right, we get it, like, let's go, next move, like, let's move it on here. And it's like 5 minutes of like, rearing in this leg hold, and it's just like, oh my god, let's go. So that is my biggest complaint, is it was just egregiously long. And even the parts, there were multiple parts that were pretty boring as well. So yeah, I liked it a little bit more, but I'm honestly like 3.5, 3 3/4. You know what I mean? I didn't love it. So.
You know what's surprising to me? I'm looking at Grapple, and Okada Shingo is sitting at an even 4.5. I got to be honest. I don't think anyone in our Slack went that high. I didn't see many people go that, and that's the average right now.
Right. I think Jerry, who did the review for our website, I think she went 4.5. I want to say, but let me clarify that just to make sure. So that would be. Okay. Like I said, in that moment, I saw a lot of people giving ratings. Yeah, she went 4.5 with it. So, all
right, maybe I'm out to lunch with what people thought of it.
Well, what's been interesting is in the and that's why I said, like, as I was watching it live with people, it was like, 5, 4, 4.5, 4, and then like, but the people that have watched it like a day after that maybe were spoiled or what, those people have all been kind of more on your end, not necessarily as low as you are, but more just like, it was good, but whatever, and like, 4, it was okay. So I wonder if there was something about like the excitement of watching it live or the shock of it live, versus people that presumably watched it spoiled or knew what was happening and then went back and watched it. I don't know. It's interesting. Kota Ibushi, Jeff Cobb. Now this, Joe, if you hated this match, then it was officially your air conditioning and the sand and the dishwasher, because this fucking rocked. This is 15 minutes of Jeff Cobb beating the fuck out of Kota Ibushi, 15 minutes of Kota Ibushi coming back and beating the fuck out of Jeff Cobb, and these two dudes worked their asses off. I love this match.
I told you I had one notebook match.
Oh, this was it. I'm glad. I was like, all right. So now, okay, you just did, it was not the air conditioning. Go ahead. Oh, is it not this? Come on. What are you doing?
It was not this.
Oh my god.
Nah, I go like 3 1/4.
Oh, you stink.
I couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into anything on this show. All right,
you're done then. You should have turned it off, and you're nuts. This match.
I didn't hate it. I mean, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good little match.
They beat the fuck out of each other. Come on.
I expected better after the build. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Again, maybe my circumstances really hurt.
I think they did. Yeah, this is a Joe Lanza match, so I'm a little surprised about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it. I mean, this is the classic. You're framing it like I hated it. I hate it. Right. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you it's bad. Look, there's some bad matches we're going to talk about.
Oh yes.
In a few minutes here. This is not one of them. But no, I didn't love this match. I didn't think it was a great match, and it didn't hit my expectation levels either. I don't know. But you liked it, so you talked.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
I guess you did already.
Yeah, they beat the fuck out of each other. It was great. I think Cobb. We talked about it when Cobb first got in the company, and he was kind of the smiling, guy. It didn't work, and they figured it out with Cobb. They have figured out that he just and maybe it's just a confidence thing with him. Maybe it's just them telling him, hey, go out there and just beat the fuck out of these guys. Who cares? And that's always we've mentioned that being an issue with Cobb everywhere. Is that this guy? I think he might be fearful of how strong he is and fearful of how what he can do, because he always, I mean, he works very light when you watch him live. Like, he is not a dude that really projects as like a badass. But I'm seeing it more and more in New Japan, and particularly in this match with a psychopath like Kota Ibushi. I thought Kota just went out there and said, "Fuck, man, just beat the hell out of me, beat me up, do whatever you need to do." And it feels like Cobb has been doing that as of late. In New Japan. So I'm starting to really get behind him, because there was a long period of time where we went on the show, and it was last G1 or a few G1s ago. Remember, we were talking about, like, man, this guy is just, he might not be, New Japan material, and he's there now. I think he's figured it out. He's figured out his style. He's figured out what to do. And this might be the perfect company for him, where they don't care if you drop a guy in his head every so often. They don't care if you stiff a guy every so often, because that is where Cobb can really set himself apart, because he is like that strong. He is like legitimately like a absolutely gigantic human being, and a very, very strong human being, and being able to use that positively will go a long way for him in New Japan. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty damn good, and particularly Cobb I was impressed by in this match. So. All right, and that is Dominion. So let's quickly go over this Kizuna Road Tour. So it kicks off on June 14th. We don't have all the matches, but we do have a few things that have been announced. As I mentioned, that Never Six-Man on June 22nd. Yoshihashi, Ishii, and Goto versus Evil, Yujiro, and Dick Togo. June 23rd, you got Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo versus Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo. They did build that a little bit as well in Dominion. We forgot to mention that one, but you got that. But the exciting news, Joe, the one I am happy about, and I think you're probably happy about as well, they announced that during the Kizuna Road Tour, Young Lions, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Uemura are undergoing singles gauntlets. Yes, I love these. They're always great. June 14th, Uemura versus Suzuki. Tsuji versus Tanahashi. June 15th, Uemura versus Zack Sabre Jr. Tsuji versus Taichi. June 16th, Uemura versus Tanahashi. Tsuji versus Okada. June 22nd, Uemura versus Taiji. Tsuji versus Zack Sabre Jr. And then finally, June 23rd, Tsuji versus Okan and Uemura versus Ibushi. I mean, I love these singles gauntlets. I love when companies do this. And these look like some really fun matchups. I cannot. Uemura versus Ibushi, Uemura versus Suzuki, Uemura versus Tanahashi. I'm in for all those. Those sound great. Tsuji versus Okada sounds fantastic as well. I love these, and I cannot wait to watch these matches.
Yeah, no, they this is a good hook for me. I enjoy this too. It's they're getting creative with the small roster again. And this is something creative and fun. And they're not taking on, there's some crossover of the same opponents, but it's not the same 5 opponents either.
Yeah, like Okada only has, Okada's only going to be against Tsuji and not against Uemura. Tanahashi will be against both guys. Zack will be against both guys. Like, Minoru Suzuki will not be against Tsuji, but only against Uemura. So yeah, there's some cool stuff. Okan getting in there against Tsuji, but not Uemura. So yeah, there's some fun, interesting stuff there.
And Ibushi Uemura is the other unique one.
Oh yeah, so, right.
That makes it a lot of fun too, and we get to see the big stars wrestle these young lions, and this is fun because remember Tanahashi had that match against Okada before Okada went on excursion.
Yeah, oh yeah, these are always great, and these are things that they will use forever. The matches, and this is something that we love about New Japan. The reason why we this podcast fell in love with New Japan and talked about it primarily for years and years and years is that these results matter. You know what I mean? Like they're going to they will be used in stories. They'll be used as defining things. They're probably going to lose every one of these. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe one guy gets an upset against one guy.
Oh come on, man! They're losing them all. Who are they beating?
I don't know. Yeah. It's a let's see here. Yeah, no.
Every now and then, somebody on a trial series will win a match. Like
yeah,
not necessarily
the only one I could see is if you wanted to sell the Okada is still kind of working through the injuries thing to Tsuji, you got that. And then maybe, but probably not Tsuji versus Okan, but that's probably not happening either. So
somebody in Noah, and I can't remember who, beat Juventud Guerrera, and it was the only win they got in their trial series. And I can't fucking remember who it was. And it's gonna bug me. Was it Kenta? Can you look that up?
I will look it up. Yeah. Let's look up Juventud Guerrera.
Does Kenta line up time-wise? I think it does.
I don't remember when Juventud was in Noah, actually, to be honest. So that I'm a bad person to ask about that. I always kind of forget that he was ever in Noah, to be honest. So Let's see here. Pro Wrestling Noah. Yeah, Kenta first trial. Kenta defeats Juventud Guerrero. Good memory there.
Yeah, and he lost all the other ones.
January 17th, 2004. And yes, I believe he did lose all the other ones as well.
But here's the thing. By 2004, he was already like a tag star, Kenta.
Right.
So that one's a little different. This isn't a guy, like he had already won titles by 2004. So that's not a true, like when Dragon Gate does these or New Japan, typically the guy is still a rookie or a young lion. And Kenta really wasn't at that point.
Yeah,
but
I think what I'm guessing is in looking at the booking of this, I believe this was kind of his ascension to becoming a singles star.
Yeah,
because the way it goes is, he gets it's Kenta first trial, he beats Juventud Guerrero. Mm-hmm. Kenta second trial, he's against Ogawa, he loses to Ogawa. Yeah. Kenta third trial, he loses to Jun Akiyama, and the guys keep getting better and better and better. Fourth trial, Takayama, he loses to Takayama.
Well, the key is they're all heavyweights.
Right. Fifth trial, he loses to Masawa.
Oh, yeah, he's not beating these people.
Yeah, sixth trial, Kenta Kobashi, and then finally the seventh trial, Marufuji, which is interesting. So that they like you said, were kind of linked up at that point as well. So yeah.
And Marufuji got pushed before Kenta.
Right. So that was kind of Marufuji is a little bit above you. Like you've had your little trial, it's fun, but yeah, Marufuji beat you, and now it's
So he beat the Foreign Junior, got fucking destroyed by all the top guys.
Yes.
And then the big climax was Marufuji. But yeah, again, that one again is a little different because this was a guy who was a pushed wrestler at this point, but he wasn't ever beating those heavyweight stars. You said Takayama, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's the match where Takayama really fucks him up real bad. It may be a different matchup because this is like 15 years ago, 16 years ago, 17 years ago. So it's hard to remember, but there's one match where Takayama just beats the living shit out of him. And it would make sense if it was during one of these trial series deals where they're testing him. But yeah, I remember that, him beating Guerrero. There's other examples too of guys winning a match or two against other, like prelim level guys. But none of these dudes are winning any of these matches. I mean, they have 0% chance. I know I just said that about Shingo last week, but
let me dream, goddammit. But yeah, I can't. Every other guy is either going for a title or the top guy. So yeah, I doubt it. The only, like I said, Tsuji versus Okada, maybe, probably not. I'd put it at like a 20% chance, but I could see if you really, really wanted to sell. And Okada loves selling like I'm in the doldrums or I'm on a losing streak type thing. So that's a possibility, but probably not. And then Okan maybe, but I don't think they would have Okan lose at this point. So
no. Okan is not losing this. It's 0%.
I'm giving it a 1% chance. How about that?
No,
it's zero. It's definitely zero. Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so that is New Japan. We're going to get into Cyber Fight here in a moment. I do want to let you know that this episode of the Voice Wrestling Flagship Podcast is also brought to you by our friends at Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you, Joe, the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide, and we have an exclusive offer for our listeners, 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. So now, again, that has changed. We had previous Manscaped ads. They were not Flagship. This is a new one. 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Manscaped obviously hooked us up with the Perfect Package 3.0, including the best ball hair trimmer ever, the Lawnmower 3.0, their third generation trimmer that features cutting-edge ceramic blade, reduces grooming accidents, thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. In addition, this trimmer comes with the advanced LED light that you and I both enjoy a lot for a more precise shave. Also, it is waterproof, so you can make your shower shave clean and easy. The Lawnmower 3.0 comes inside, again, as we said, that Perfect Package 3.0 with everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. The crop preserver and anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer, all the other good stuff there. The crop reviver, You use that with the crop preserver. Keep your balls from sweating, smelling, or sticking. Manscaped also throws in 2 free gifts in their perfect package. A pair of high-performance Manscaped boxer briefs that I'm literally wearing as we speak. They'll keep your junk fresh all day, as well as a travel bag to store all of your grooming goodies. So again, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Once again, 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Once again, 20% off free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right. Thank you, Manscaped, for helping sponsor this week's show. All right, let's get to the Cyber Fight Festival. Joe, you watched all 8 hours of it in preparation for the show. Is that correct?
I wouldn't watch some of this shit.
You're not watching? So you're telling me, Joe, you call yourself a professional. You did not watch the delayed entry pre-show battle royal won by Antonio Honda?
I will never watch an Antonio Honda match. Just like I will never step foot on the beach, I will never watch an Antonio Honda match for the rest of my life. Same thing with Dino. I will never watch another Dino match for the entirety of my existence. So that knocks 2 of these out. So I'm not watching any Joshi. Not doing it. Not a world I want to be a part of. I've dabbled in it. I came away less than impressed, so I'm going to continue to hand wave to Joshi. But there was some stuff I watched here, yeah.
So I watched the final 4 matches of the show. I do plan on watching a little bit. I kind of like the presentation of what they did, and there's some matches that seem semi-interesting to me. So I'm planning over the course of the next week, kind of watching this entire thing. But for the purposes of this show, I watched the last 4 matches. What did you see of the final half of the show?
Top 2.
You saw the top 2. Okay, cool. So I will quickly go over. I will recommend, if you want to go out of your way, to definitely watch the Takashita Uno versus Kiyomiya Inamura match. Really good stuff here. 17 minutes. It's a little long, but I thought the action was really good. Takashita and Kiyomiya had some really, really cool interactions that I think you'll like. I thought it was interesting that the DDT team got the win there over Kiyomiya and Inamura. But yeah, definitely, if you get a chance, Joe, go out of your way, watch this one. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll get enough out of it. They're really hard hitting, really good action. A bunch of kind of young prospects or guys that are in the peak of their game. So yeah, I think you will like that match. But if you're pressed for time, I get it. But I think you'll enjoy that one as far as I can.
I'm planning on watching that match, and I may actually make that the 5th match.
It's not a bad idea. I think it's a Joe Lanza match for sure. I think you'll enjoy it. So maybe that's not a bad idea for your 5th match for the Lanza reviews. So. I also watched the Princess of Princess title match, Yamashita versus Yuka Sakazaki.
You're not talking me into this.
I'm not going to try to, because I liked this match, but it was a little sloppy for me. There was just points in this match where it felt like someone was kind of waiting for the other person to do a move to them, and stuff like that kind of took me out of the match a little bit. It was hard hitting. There was a lot of points that were really hard hitting. I'm not gonna talk you into it, because I don't think it's one that is definitively a great match. I have seen some people that really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but not great. Definitely, I wouldn't say go out of your way to watch it. I would say if you get a chance, can I give you this at least? I'm not telling you to invest 16 minutes of your time. Can you at least watch the last minute and the post match of this? When you go and watch the tag team, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna tell you what happens. I just want to tell you, and everybody that's listening, go watch the last minute of this match, and then watch the post match.
Are these skirt wearing idols?
What do you think? What are genie pants?
Oh wait, is this the magical girl?
Yeah.
Oh, get lost! I'm not watching this shit.
Damn it.
I didn't realize it was the magical girl.
No, Miyu Yamashita, she just wears tights, so she's just wearing normal stuff. But it is Yuka Sakazaki. It is the magical girl. So.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. I just blocked it out because it was the Joshi match. No, Rich, come on, man. I really got to watch the last minute of this?
Yeah, I think you do.
Don't you know how annoyed I get with the magical girl?
I know. I'm just telling you. 1 minute.
All right.
I just want 1 minute out of your time, if you can do that for me.
Did she win the Princess of Princesses title here?
She did not. Yuka Sakazaki did not win the Princess of Princess title.
So unfortunately, they may be bringing her back to AEW. I guess magical girl matches.
Yeah.
Okay. God, the magical girl. She should do a magic trick where she disappears.
Oh, come on. Oh, she's magical all right. Girl. Get out of here. You're too harsh. You're too harsh on her.
It's just those gimmicks. I can't take it.
I get it.
About it.
Well,
I want my wrestlers to be tough.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Watch the final minute of this match. Okay? And the post match.
Everyone does this, and I'm never impressed.
Okay, I am telling you. I don't steer you wrong usually in terms of the Joshi stuff because I don't watch much of it either. You said you wanted him to be tough, right? Watch the final minute and the post match of this. Does
she get stuffed back into the genie bottle? Because I would probably enjoy that.
Sorta, yeah, kind of. In a way,
like if Miyu Yamashita here stuffed the magical girl back into the genie bottle,
I'll spoil it for you a little bit. She kicks the living shit out of her.
Okay.
So if you're really not a fan of the magical girl, you might enjoy Miyu Yamashita kicking the fuck out of her. So then essentially then they get in the middle of the ring. They do kind of a respect thing where they get on both knees and they kind of like bow to each other. Then Yuka Sakazaki slaps the living shit out of Yamashita, shoves her down and walks out of the ring. That sounds kind of cool, right?
I listen.
I know.
How many times do I have to be told I'm going to like some of this stuff, and then I never like any of it?
A great response in the chat room. Matthew says, watch it with the repairman when he comes over.
He's not coming back.
Oh, he's not coming back? Oh, all right.
It's fixed.
Maybe when the dishwasher guy comes to install.
Well, what? No, you think I would ever let another living human know that I'm watching the magical girl? I mean, regular pro wrestling's humiliating enough. What are they going to think with the magical girl on the screen? They're going to call the cops. So no, I won't be doing that.
Okay, all right, that's fair. All right, so now we'll move on to the final two matches. You and I saw both of these. I'm gonna start you off here because I need to get something to drink because it is ungodly hot in this room. I imagine it's hot in your room as well. So I'm gonna start you off here and then I'll be right back. It'll only take me about a minute. But KOD open weight title match: Jun Akiyama versus Harashima. 18 minutes 53 seconds. Jun Akiyama retains the title by referee's decision. What'd you think of this match? And what'd you think of Jun Akiyama here in the KOD open weight title match?
That's my notebook match.
There it is. All right. I agree. Great match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the hell out of this. I thought Jun Akiyama worked over Harashima like a fucking surgeon. I thought he was great in the match. I think that Jun Akiyama, and I do have to admit, I did not watch the Dino match because, as stated earlier, I will never watch another Danshoku Dino match for as long as I live. But I've seen the other three now, and basically Jun Akiyama is having the title run that a lot of people have tried to convince themselves that Keiji Muto was having. This is a veteran wrestler, a star from another era who can still go, not just for a man that's 50, but can still go, period. Jun Akiyama, after a year or two off, is right back to being one of the 50 best pro wrestlers on the planet. And it's because of this push, and it's because of this title run. And I had some issues with the Higuchi match. I talked about them here. I didn't love the Higuchi match, but it had nothing to do with Akiyama's performance. He was very good in the match. He was awesome in this match against Harashima. He was the title change with Tetsuya Endo was an excellent match. I didn't watch the Dino match because it's Dino, but basically this title reign is what people desperately wanted the Muto title reign to be in a lot of ways.
Right. You don't have to pretend that Jun Akiyama's good. You can he's just actually good. So
no, this was, listen.
You don't have to give him, extra credit because he's old and, he did something, but he's old, guys. So we gotta, it's bad, but he's old. It's like, no, Jun Akiyama's old and he fucking rules still. So
hey, Harashima's 46.
Yeah, himself. Right. No spring chicken himself, and he's still
this match had
great.
A lot of parallels to the Noah match.
Right. It just didn't stink. Yeah.
But this is okay. This is the champion from another era who's still awesome. Not just acceptable, but still a great wrestler.
Still a top 50 pro wrestler in the world, yeah.
And when you compare Harashima to Marufuji, you have the 46-year-old in this case is a guy who still cares and tries hard. Where Marufuji hasn't been a guy who has tried hard in at least a half a decade. And a lot of that is his broken down body. And I've got no beef with Naomichi Marufuji. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's had countless tremendous matches that I've enjoyed over the years. He's part of one of my favorite tag teams of all time. He's part of one of my favorite singles rivalries of all time. I love the guy. I was there at the Manhattan Center when he farted during a match, and we all fucking laughed our asses off when he came to ROH and farted in the middle of the match. I mean, he's even giving me memories like that. I love the guy. But Harashima works circles around him these days. You know, and I watch Harashima maybe twice a year.
Yeah, I always forget that he's as old as he was, and I think I listened to the English commentary on this, and they're like, yeah, he debuted in 2001. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. He is like old as fuck. Jesus. He doesn't look it either. Yeah, he doesn't look it, he doesn't act it, he doesn't work it. Yeah, we shouldn't leave him out when we talk about good old wrestlers, because he's tremendous still.
Yeah, you forget about it. But look, he's starting to look in the face. He's finally starting to
a little.
Like
yeah, you're starting to get it a little bit. The eyes, the bags under the eyes are starting to, he appears to be a man that doesn't get as much sleep as he maybe used to, or needs a little bit more than he used to. So,
but when he was 40, he looked 25, Harashima, you know. But no, this was a great match. I mean, Akiyama really controlled a large portion of it. He really took most of the match, which surprised me. And look, I don't follow DDT, and I don't know the story coming in. I'm parachuting into the match, so I'm just watching this as a wrestling fan who is familiar with both wrestlers, has been watching both wrestlers for years, but has no idea what the story is coming in or anything. And I just love this as an isolated wrestling match in a vacuum. And I thought the work was great. I think Akiyama has 4 matches now, counting the title win in this run. And I thought this was his best bell-to-bell performance out of the 3 of the 4 that I've seen. And, Harashima sold very well. And, the fit, he gives him the exploder at the end. Like he gave him like
4 exploders. Yeah. Did you think that was kind of interesting? Yeah. It was kind of cool. Like at a certain point I was like, like the 3rd exploder, I was like, this is a little too much. Then the 4th, I was like, okay, never mind. This rules.
Yeah, he would not die. And I don't mind that, because Harashima in that DDT universe is the kind of guy that's going to stand up to this.
Yeah, for sure.
And, but he obviously wasn't going to be the guy to dethrone this. Now, I wouldn't call Akiyama an invader, but he's definitely an outsider. He's definitely has a feel of being an outsider. He's not an invader though. He's part of the company. We all, but he definitely, it's not a DDT guy, yeah, this was the best match I watched today. I really enjoyed the hell out of this. And I've really, and I think that this Akiyama title run is everything that people claim that the everything that people have badly wanted the Muto one to be. And this is it. Like, it's happening in front of you. It's just in DDT and not in Noah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I know. I really liked it a lot. I would go somewhere between 4.25 and 4.5. Classic 4 1/3. I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely go out of your way to watch this one for sure. I would say of the ones that I saw, the tag that I mentioned, the Takashita tag that I mentioned, go out of your way to watch that one, and definitely go out of your way to watch this Akiyama versus Harashima. But fortunately, we have to talk about the main event here. GHC Heavyweight title match. Naomichi Marufuji defeats Keiji Muto to become the new GHC Heavyweight Champion. 23 minutes and 30 seconds. That's weird, Joe, because I was... it's weird. When Keiji Muto won the title, and you and I said, geez, I don't know, I don't really love this. I think it's, not really the guy that I would choose. We were told by everybody that defended it, oh, you idiots, it's so he can lose to Kiyomiya and pass the torch. And our retort always was, well, he had a chance, Kiyomiya had a chance to beat him, and he didn't. So why do you have to go through this whole title reign, this whole rigmarole? Why do you have to give the top title to Keiji Muto? Well, they're going to sell tickets, and it's going to be big moments, and then at the big, he's going to sell a bunch of, things, and then he's going to face Kiyomiya in a big moment. Kiyomiya is going to beat him, and then the torch will be passed to the next guy. So instead, we give the title to a broken down guy who hasn't been good in 5 years, and has had the title a bunch of times. So that all worked. That was great. So,
he probably doesn't want the title.
No,
but
awesome. It's tremendous.
Look, they did it this way because
they're stupid.
Well,
they're not good at booking.
They did it this way because
Nosawa's a bad booker, I think, is what my answer would be. But
Rich, all of these things are true. But they did it this way because I think on this big show, the big joint show, they figure it's going to get a lot of attention. Muto's on top. And the idea is it was 2 recognizable names, and Marufuji is the last remnants, the last remaining flame from the original Noah, and he's the one to dethrone Muto on this huge show in Saitama Super Arena. You know, like if me or you were booking, it's a younger guy, you know, and you try to get him the rub or whatnot, but that, you know, that hasn't been what this reign has been at all from the start. And I think they felt like this was the biggest match they can do. And symbolically, it was the Noah guy reclaiming Noah's prize from, you know, the guy that is most historically linked to New Japan. I think that was the thought process here. The biggest stars in the match on the biggest show. Look, I don't think Kaito Kiyomiya is dead. I don't think he can't be revived. I still think they're going to push him ultimately. You know, I don't obviously love that Muto beat him twice. That's my biggest gripe. I've said a million times, I don't care that he beat him once. But then when you go back to the well and do the title shot, he beats him again? Okay, now what are we doing here?
Right.
Because in my view, even if Kiyomiya beats Muto now at some point, which is by no stretch a lock, who knows whether Muto even is willing to lose to the guy? I don't know that Muto's willing to lose to the guy. But let's say that Kiyomiya does beat him at some point. Now he's not beating him for the title, number one. And I still don't think he, quote unquote, gets his heat back.
No, he's still 2-1. Yeah, he's still 2-1. Yeah, it's the one is fine, but you got to get that win back, and it's got to be a big moment. It's got to be a big thing if he's going to get that win back. Yeah, you know, it's done. I mean, he's 2-0. You know what I mean? He stepped up to the old guy twice, stepped up to the veteran twice, and got his ass beat down 2 times. You know, nothing's going to change that. Like, that happened already. That's too late.
That's why I really didn't mind it happen in the first loss, because it was also a point in Kiyomiya's thing where he was it was after his title reign, and you know they're building him back up. I really didn't mind once. It's the second one that bugs me, you know, because it's even if he beats him now, you can't get that heat. It doesn't feel like he's getting his heat back. So, look, Kiyomiya is, I want to get this right, he's 24. So, I mean, you know, he's not dead. You know, he's not a guy that can't be a top guy again, of course. And I do think that they were doing a good job building him back up since he lost the title.
And they still are. Yeah, if you watch the tag match, like, he's a star in that tag match too.
Yeah, and I think these beatings he's taking in the matches, he had that tag match a couple weeks ago where Sugiura and Marufuji just maimed him. I mean, they just beat the living shit out of him. I think all of these things are good for him and his development and rebuilding him, but you're never going to get me on board with losing to Muto twice being a good thing. It's not good. And I'm not saying it's going to kill him dead, but it doesn't help him. It does not help him. And it runs the risk of hurting him badly. Doesn't mean it will, but it runs the risk of hurting him badly. And it's just, I know it's different. It's 9 owners ago and 150 bookers ago. I get it. But it's just funny how this is the same company that saw this shit happen 15 years ago, and here we go again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I brought it up the second Muto won. I said, I know it's not the same, and I know I maybe shouldn't make that connection, but I can't help but think, man, like, this just feels exactly like when they couldn't pull the trigger on Kenta. They couldn't pull the trigger on Marufuji. They went back to the well again and again and again. And, you know, 4 or 5 years later, they were in the doldrums where they were. And
to their peril.
Yeah, that's basically right. Near death, because they had no new stars. Nobody new created. And they just kept going back to the old security blankets till they literally died. Like, you know, unfortunately, not to make like light of it, but like literally just went to the same guys until one of the guys couldn't go anymore, and Kobashi obviously couldn't go anymore, and ended up having it, and they were left with nothing. They were left with absolutely nothing left, you know, of the company, and no stars. And Kenta and Marufuji eventually got the reins, but
nobody believed in them.
Nobody believed in them, and it was many years too late. So,
and they may never have worked out anyway, for all we know. But the way they did it, no one believed in them as top guys by the time they did have to turn to them, because there was no other choice, because of death and age and everything else. So it's just funny how it's like, why would, you know, it's the same. I know it's just the same company in name only. It's not the same company anymore, but it's just, it's very ironic that you'd have Muto beat this guy twice, but it's whatever. And who knows? Maybe Kiyomiya can't even be a difference-making star. We don't even know that for certain.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I try. You know what I mean? Like, especially now.
You got to try with someone.
Yeah,
you know. And
this would be the year where I would. I mean, this, and especially like you mentioned, I get how somebody would think. Okay, we're in the main event of this big time show or whatever. Let's put our two biggest stars that we have. The candle holder for the previous Noah versus Muto the legend. I get it. I understand that, but man, if I'm booking this, especially during COVID, especially during this year, I mean that's I go the opposite. I go with, okay, we can fuck around a little bit here. We have a crowd already here. We have X amount of people here and the X percentage here or whatever. This is an opportunity to make a star. And that's, again, like, it was kind of, it's just like everybody told us, oh, well, you idiot, guys, just come on, have some patience. Kiyomiya is going to beat him, and it's all about Kiyomiya. It's all about Kiyomiya. It's all about building for the future. Oh, now we're here. Keiji Muto won.
Yeah.
And had a bunch of really shitty matches. The perception around this company has fallen tremendously from where it was last year. And now the title's on, 45 or whatever the fuck year old Naomichi Marufuji. So, all right. Cool. Like, okay. Like, what was it all for? I mean, what did we accomplish over these last 6 months?
What was the setup for this? 4,800 sold and 5,000 or something. So they sold.
I'm not sure.
Everything.
Yeah, I think they sold just about everything. So
beat a 5,000 cap, right? Like everything. I
right.
haven't followed that super closely. Yeah, I don't know. But this match, this Muto Marufuji match, was fucking atrocious. I mean, this was a horrendous wrestling match. I mean, it's terrible.
But Joe, they're old, so you're not allowed to actually criticize old wrestlers.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we are.
Yeah, I think we are too. Because and that's the thing. Okay, because that's the retort whenever a Muto has when he lays a fucking egg again in the ring and he's terrible. Is I don't care. He hit the moonsault is what I hear. Number one, which okay, cool, great. So.
He could do that in an undercard 6-man tag.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, that was going to be my overall point. Is like I am not one of those people that is going to criticize some undercard 6-man and it has old dudes in it. You know what I mean? I don't care. That's fine. And I'm not going to criticize, if Dory Funk is, you'll rag on Dory Funk or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever, it's inoffensive. I don't really care all that much. Whatever. It's a bunch of old dudes are in some undercard or whatever. They roll around. They do some fun stuff. They do their spots that everybody likes. Great. Okay, cool. I'm not going to criticize them. I'm not going to rag on them. It's whatever. It's meaningless in the grand scheme of things. When you're in the main event and you're the champion, I'm allowed to say, hey, this guy stinks. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go with kids' gloves when this guy's the fucking champion and he's in the main event. Like, I'm allowed to say, hey, this old guy who's the champion in this main event is blowing up a minute and a half into this match and is literally being held up by Marufuji, who's no spring chicken and not real great himself. So,
look, I thought, okay, I hated the Shiozaki match. I couldn't stand it. I think you didn't hate it quite as much as me, but you didn't exactly like it. Is that accurate?
Yeah. You absolutely despise it. I thought it was just okay.
I thought it was an embarrassment to the pro wrestling industry. I thought to have Go Shiozaki selling for this corpse, I fucking hated it. The Kiyomiya match I liked. I don't like how it played out, but the match I thought Muto was better. Now Kiyomiya was flying all over the place for him, and at times it felt ridiculous. But I thought by Muto standards, it was fine.
It worked. That match worked for sure.
I didn't hate that one. The Kitamiya match. I don't remember what I thought of the Kitamiya match. But this one, Muto was so egregiously awful here. I mean, he had no,
he couldn't breathe, Joe. A minute in, he's gasping for air.
And the thing about it is, Marufuji isn't. I need something to drink now too. Marufuji isn't interested in working hard or bumping.
No.
So it's the perfect opponent. Like his perfect opponent is Muto because Marufuji doesn't want to do anything and Muto can't do anything.
So they just lay on each other and sweat on one another. That's all they did.
They literally laid around until they built to the moonsault. They built to the moonsault spot. They laid around and built to the moonsault. And then the moonsault was 2 minutes before the finish, and then the final 2 minutes was, Marufuji throwing a bunch of knees and
essentially what they did is so Muto hit the moonsault, and then I guess they were trying to sell that like took so much out of him just to do that because Marufuji just popped up and did 2 minutes of knees and then pinned him.
It was so awful. Marufuji sold the moonsault like it was death, which you're going to do because it's the finisher of a legend, and he's your world champion, which is ridiculous on its face. But so he is selling this moonsault like death, but then
he gets up first.
He just stops selling it and rolling around. And he just gets up and goes into one of his kicking sequences.
Yeah, just flash knees and flash kicks. Yeah, just 17 hook kicks and 17 knees, and then that's
Yeah, and completely ignoring the fact that he was selling this move like he was dying 10 seconds earlier. You know, and it's like, this match fucking sucked.
And then
it is so bad.
Muto did my favorite thing that he's done in this entire reign, which really love, and this is definitely a guy I want to give my world title to. Marufuji got the 1-2-3. Muto 1-2-3. Marufuji got up. Muto rolled out, and he's walking up and just walking to the back. Like, all right. 1-2-3. All right, cool. I'm done. That was the end of that match. So he did it a few times. He did it against Kiyomiya. He's done it anytime that Muto's taking a pinfall. He'll go down 1-2-3. Boom. He's right up in 10 seconds. He's out of the ring before the winner can even stand up and get his hand raised. Muto's already walking to the back. None the worse for the wearer. So yeah, I love it. Absolutely tremendous stuff.
Well, he's going to get them paydays until he literally cannot stand anymore.
And people are going to.
And if they're going to book him into these positions, that's not his fault.
No, hell no. Get that bag, man. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, God, this was just the perfect storm of shit. It's like a 1-star match.
Oh, it's terrible. It's dreadful. Yeah, it's dreadful.
There's like nothing redeeming about it. Like, there's a little bit of juice after the moonsault. But again, it comes from this, it's so comical where Marufuji he goes from selling like he was hit with with a fucking sledgehammer. So, all right, it's time for my hook kicks.
I honestly thought that my video skipped and that I did something because Marufuji gets the moonsault and they're like, oh my God, the crowd goes nuts. I mean, the crowd goes nuts for the Muto moonsault because it's the Muto moonsault. They're always going to go nuts for that. It's a legendary move from a legend in wrestling. Like that it's a cool thing. He hasn't done it in a long time. So I get it. It's awesome. So Marufuji is holding his chest like, he's just writhing in pain. Yeah. And so I look down for a second. I look up and he's throwing hook kicks. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I look down. I actually hit the 15 seconds on my video to think, oh, man, I must have clearly like done something or my dog hit, the thing or whatever. I look back. No, he's writhing in pain. The camera cuts to, Muto, who's holding his, sweaty body up in the ropes. And then they cut and there's Marufuji just up and throwing hook kicks. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, that's cool. All right, let's go home. And then 2 minutes of hook kicks and then it was over. So
and this guy's under contract for another year and a half.
Yeah,
Muto. What do you do with this fucking relic? What do you do with him? He can't fucking move. And again, the problem here is he's your main event world champion. Look, Sting worked third or fourth from the top on that pay-per-view and looked good, but that's besides the point. He's in a tag match, third or fourth from the top.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be just as critical. I would be just as critical if Sting is in main events against Kenny Omega and out there can't do shit. Go ahead.
I wouldn't be quite as critical. You know why? Because he proved he can still go. But I'd still be annoyed at it. That's the other thing, too. It's like Muto can't fucking move.
Or breathe. Or run. Or do anything.
It's like Akiyama is still great. I don't care how old he is. And he's fresh in DDT. That's the other thing, too. Like, he's still great, and it's a fresh story, and it's a fresh place, and he's never held this title. All the opponents are new. So, this whole thing where it's, you don't
have to add any qualifiers when you talk about Jun Akiyama. It's just, he's having great matches against opponents he's never faced before, and it rules, and it's awesome.
I'm giving you examples of old guys where we like it. It's not that Muto's old. It's that he's fucking terrible.
That he sucks. It's that he's garbage. Yeah. I don't hate old wrestlers. I hate bad wrestlers.
Okay, so at least the title reign's over. I don't know what you do with him now, though.
Yeah, now I don't know. Yeah. I figurehead commissioner or something. I don't know. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have signed him in the first place. I would have signed him for 5 months and have this be the end point and be like, all right, thank you, pal. We sold out, whatever. But yeah, I guess they got him, so I don't
know. What about someone put out this theory in the No Dopes chat room? What if Kiyomiya literally retires Muto? Will you come around on it?
I won't believe it.
In a world where, we're in a alternate universe. And the plan all along was for Kiyomiya to retire Muto. He beats him so badly, learning from all these beatings he's taken. And then he gives that kind of beating to Muto, beats him by referee's decision, and Muto never wrestles again because of the beating that Kiyomiya gave him. Is that enough to overcome the two losses?
It helps, but I don't know.
I think that's like the only scenario I'd accept.
Yeah, and it'd have to be like he fucking sends this guy packing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be a
Muto's
pretty.
never agreeing to that.
No. Yeah. And you're probably right. What probably happened is they probably had the idea. I will at least give Nosawa and a few of the other guys credit that maybe they had the idea that, hey, we're going to do this, and I bet Muto just said, nah, I'll lose to Marufuji, but that's it. And they've had to do this, you know?
See, I differ. I think that they think this is all good. That Marufuji, the Noah guy, is the one to end it. I think that was, you know, but do I think that Muto is more do you think it's easier for him to accept a loss to Marufuji than a 24-year-old kid? Yes.
Yeah. Especially if that scenario that, you know, the chat room laid out there where
if
he gets retired, he's going to say no to that immediately.
Yeah.
Especially I don't know if he's even given that to Noah. You know what I mean? Like why does Noah deserve to have that? I don't know. Excited to argue about it more and more as people pretend that is good.
I think
it might be over. The arguments might be over, and I think we've won that.
You can't defend this match. Is anyone defending this?
Of course.
They are? You can't. No, stop it.
Of course. It's Muto, man. He could take a shit in the middle of the ring, and people could be fine with it. So
no one's defending this one, though. Let me look on. They can't be. It's not fucking possible to think this was anything but awful. I don't
know if it's on Cage Match.
It's 7.
I'm telling you, believe me. I'm telling you.
What are they watching?
I don't know.
I am stunned. I thought for sure I was going to click this and see like a 4-point something.
No, man. People fucking lie to themselves and think these are good.
7.41 for this pile of fucking shit? This was the worst one yet. Hold on. Let me see what the other... Okay, Kitamiya. 7.28. Kiyomiya. Oh, of course. The one I like got a 5.72. The one I liked gets a 5.72. The one where shit actually happened in the match got a 5.72. That makes a lot of sense. And Shiozaki, I know people love this one. Oh, not really. 7.68. So none of them are by definition a notebook match because none of them are 8 or higher. So we do have to be fair here. They're all finishing they're all 3 3/4 star matches by consensus, with the exception of Kiyomiya. So people aren't claiming that these are like great matches, but what they're claiming is that they're not horrendous. And we're saying that for the most part, we think they've been pretty horrendous. That's the difference. That's the disconnect. But I am not. Look, I'm not surprised at the Shiozaki one. I'm not surprised at the Kitamiya one. I am stunned that people think that the Marufuji match was anything other than an atrocious pile of shit. One of the worst matches of the year. I am stunned that anyone thinks otherwise. That stuns me.
That moonsault's powerful.
Who gives a fuck?
Not me. It's somebody, obviously. Yeah, it's.
I couldn't care less if I ever saw another Muto moonsault in my life. You know why? I can go watch good Muto matches where he does moonsaults. Correct.
There's a lot.
Are we just not sentimental people or something?
I think we're not sentimental to Keiji Muto as much, but I mean, I think he's great. Like, you know what I mean? I don't feel the need. We call it like it is, and we've always done that on this show. We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to pretend to like something just because it fits a narrative or whatever. And I mean, would it be awesome if he went out there and was having great performances and 2001 Muto performances? Yeah, it'd be fucking tremendous. He's not. I mean, it's okay to just admit this guy's he can't move, man. The match starts and he's blown up in 2 minutes. He can't move and he doesn't sell because he can't sell because he's selling his like legit actual, you know, cardiovascular damage that's going on. And Marufuji hasn't been good in 5 years. And it's okay to just admit that that's fine. Like, It doesn't. Well, what people do is when you and I say, "Hey, this match stunk and we hated it," it invalidates everything that Keiji Muto's ever done. You know what I mean? That's how people take it, and that's dumb. It's okay to
Rich,
think.
I didn't like Ken Griffey Jr. running around holding his hamstring.
Right. It doesn't mean that you're invalidating Seattle Mariners Ken Griffey Jr., one of the best players, of his generation.
Right. But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of other examples, but like, I don't want to watch that.
It's people get weird about this, and you criticizing 2021 Muto means that you're invalidating his entire career.
You think that's what it is? I don't know.
I think people are that way. I think they are. And if they liked him, you have to always like him, and you can't just say like, you just can't be honest. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it is just, it's performative too. So whatever.
I mean, I hate going down that road, because then you're telling people that they don't really like something when they're telling you they like it. And that's a dangerous road to go down. I'm more interested in trying to pin down what you could possibly like about that match other than nostalgia. Because if two able-bodied 30-year-old wrestlers had that exact match, I don't think anyone would think it was good. Right? I mean, is that
right? No, for sure. But I think, like you're saying, there's the context of it's these guys and they're important, and Muto's one of my favorites.
That. Pro wrestling, all that stuff matters. But so this is why I'm saying the nostalgia has to be the difference, right? Because if Will Ospreay and Shingo had this match, people would be ragging on it for months at how poorly executed it is, and one guy's blown up the whole time, and there's no action. But the context of the people involved in pro wrestling does matter. But what I'm saying is the context here of it being Muto, the nostalgia has to be what puts it over the top for people. Because what else is there? Because I watched this match, and I think about this match that I just watched it's fresh in my mind. It was awful. It was really awful. And I feel like I've been at least fair about the Muto matches, because I did like the Kiyomiya match to an extent. I didn't think that was awful. I don't know. I've
honestly been more critical of the booking than some of them. I mean, I haven't loved the matches, but the Shiozaki one, I was just critical of the booking. But the match I thought was okay. And I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't hate that. I hated it.
No, yeah. You thought it was an affront to pro wrestling, and I didn't.
I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was so bad that it was kayfabe breaking fucking bullshit, because I couldn't buy it. It was nonsense to me. It was like watching. It was like barely any different than if like Alexa Bliss like beat up Brock Lesnar. I'm trying to make an extreme example, but like I would never be able to buy that. Do you know what I mean? Like I could not buy Muto could beat up Shiozaki, or even beat him in a flukish way, because I don't buy that he can last a half hour with him. That's why I struggled with that, man. I don't know. This is just, it's over. The nightmare is over. Maybe we can get reinvested in Noah with hot young star Naomichi Marufuji at the helm now.
Maybe he'll try to be good. Yes, it's been since 2016, but hey, you know what?
And we don't have to look at Keiji Muto's stupid curly white chest hairs anymore, thankfully.
So that was what we saw of the Cyber Fight Festival. As you said, Joe, probably going to do that tag match for the last of his 5 reviews. So you'll get Joe's thoughts on that pretty soon in written form for the $10 tier, patreon.com/voices of wrestling. So we got about a half hour here, which I think is perfectly fine for these next 2 shows, because NXT TakeOver in your house, I think it'll be a quick little preview. We'll do that at the end of the show. But Joe, we got to talk about this. We from the beginning of this show's days, we have always said we will cover the National Wrestling Alliance. And thus, the National Wrestling Alliance had a pay-per-view this last weekend, When Our Shadows Fall. And Joe, we watched it. What did you think of NWA When Our Shadows Fall? You know what? Fuck it. Let's get right to the main event. NWA World's Heavyweight Title match.
What did you think of the show? I want to know what you thought of the show.
I thought it was pretty terrible.
I will tell you that this was better, way better, than any episode of Power this season. Because I knew you were going to say that. But this pay-per-view was like exponentially better than Power has been.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's now. While I say that, like, I didn't hate this show. Like, it was an easy watch. Like, I got through it very easily. There was just a lot of stuff that I didn't like on it, so it was strange. But okay, so yeah, I thought it was pretty terrible. With some stuff that I did enjoy, and you have said that it is better than NWA Power. So let's start out here with this main event. Nick Aldis defeats Trevor Murdoch by disqualification, NWA World Heavyweight Title match. So the build, as you said, Trevor Murdoch is just on this incredible build. He's cutting great promos. Nick Aldis and Strictly, he runs Strictly Business, the main stable here, basically Dollar Store, Four Horsemen. We're set for this big title match. They have, I don't know, a 10-minute match. Nothing's really happening whatsoever. Nick Aldis keeps trying to put Trevor Murdoch away, but he just won't go away. He just can't be put down. Trevor Murdoch just cannot be put down. So Nick Aldis, the dastardly heel, grabs the chair and smacks the referee in the back of the back. Referee goes tumbling out of the ring. Nick Aldis then starts beating on Trevor Murdoch, beating on Trevor Murdoch, beating on him. Finally, the tables turn. Trevor Murdoch gets the chair. He hits Nick Aldis. He throws it down. He goes for his submission, and the referee calls for the bell. The announcer says, "Your new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Trevor Murdoch." The crowd goes nuts. And the referee goes, No. Murdoch hit me in the back. Disqualified. Yeah. So bad. How terrible. You can't. Okay. This is a great finish in Trevor Murdoch's hometown of what was something, I forget where he's from. Who cares? Do you remember?
Waxahachie, fucking Texas.
Something, yeah. So when you go to Waxahachie, Texas, or whatever the fucking town that's near it, the big town that's near it, in the NWA, and it's 1983, and you want to run this story with Ric Flair, where the local babyface gets really, really close. Ric Flair, the dirtiest player in the game, cheats. The referee's confused, and he awards it to Ric Flair, and you're left going, God damn that Ric Flair, he did it again in 1983 in NWA on a house show. That's okay.
The old Dusty finish.
Yeah, the old. In 2021, on the main event of a pay-per-view, when you've been stealing people's money for every single week for these shitty power shows, and you have the audacity to charge $20 for this pay-per-view, and you finish with a 1983 Dusty finish, what are you doing? And it was done so bad too. Like, there are good Dusty finishes. It's not
even a good one. That's my
right. Like, you can do a good Dusty finish. This one was horrendous.
What's the referee's logic?
I don't know. I think
why did the referee? My problem with it was, why did the referee just assume that Trevor Murdoch hit him with the chair?
So what I think they wanted to tell, the story they wanted to tell, and I don't know if they did a good job of presenting this or showing it, is that the referee, when he came to, saw that Trevor Murdoch had the chair.
Yeah.
But the timing of it, but that's what I mean. That's what the idea, I think, was supposed to be, but they didn't do that. Trevor Murdoch had him in the hole. The referee goes, oh, and then shakes himself off, slides into the ring, and then goes, no, Trevor Murdoch's definitely the guy that hit me. It's like, what?
Yeah, Murdoch had him in a submission hold.
Right, like, that is what the story was supposed to be, I imagine, or is how I would book it if I'm booking a Dusty finish.
The idea was the ref was, because Trevor Murdoch was in control of the match, he assumed that Trevor Murdoch... It was
like 7 minutes. I mean, this referee was down for like 7 minutes.
And on top of that doesn't make sense anyway. That's why it was it wasn't just that they did a Dusty finish, a style finish. It was just a bad finish that didn't make sense. That's part of the problem too. Like, I've seen people saying, oh, this was a TV finish to set up a bigger match. You're not wrong, but it would have been a bad television finish too, because it was just a bad finish. It was an atrocious finish. It was one of the worst finishes you'll ever see to a pay-per-view main event. This was Dying Days WCW level finish. It was just awful. And it's not like they were out there having a fucking 5-star match to begin with. They're out there having a 2-star match, and then it has a fucking dud finish, and people paid $30 for it. Not good. You can't defend it.
No, yeah, it's a company that desperately needed to go out there and have I think a pretty decent pay-per-view for the people that are paying money, that are watching Power and are doing this. Like, I can't imagine a lot of people are really excited about this match or how it finished. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the weird NWA fans that you talk about all the time, maybe they enjoyed this, but I can't. I mean, it wasn't a well-executed Dusty finish at all. At its core, not only is doing a Dusty finish in the main event kind of shitty, kind of sucks, but doing a bad one that followed a bad match it just felt deflating as all hell. I mean, Nick Aldis can't beat Trevor Murdoch, right? Like, just beat him,
or at least have Murdoch standing there with a chair in his hand when the ref comes to. I mean, just bad all around, indefensibly bad, just awful. You know, and just terrible. Probably one of the worst matches on the show too. Which you don't want your main event to be one of the worst matches on the show.
No, you do not. No, you do not.
That's also something it is not desirable.
Production side, real quick, I'll talk about the production side, and then we'll go over the rest of the show. I thought it still looks good. NWA still looks really good. I love the look. I like the colors. Yeah. I love when guys cut promos before they get into the ring. That stuff all works. Joe Galley is good.
Yeah.
Tim Storm is awesome, dude. I love Tim Storm on commentary.
It was a bad sign, though, that in the very first minute of the pay-per-view, his voice was dying.
Yes, that was not good. Yeah,
not good.
But
excuse me, I'm having trouble with my voice.
Yeah,
we're running down the card.
Right. Bestia 666 is coming down to the ring for the opener. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Like, the Genocide Sky Blue pre-show match must have really blown him out or something. But yeah, that wasn't great. But yeah, Tim Storm I love the voice. He's very like. It's teacher voice, you know what I mean? He's got a very authoritative, like, you listen to the guy. When he talks, you listen. Old Velvel Holler, though. Joe?
Yeah, worst in the business.
She is an easy... I mean, I'm always going to pick a WWE guy. I'm always going to pick a Jerry the King Lawler or those sort of guys for, like, worst announcer. Velvel Holler might be pretty quick, though. Pretty high up on my list.
She's horrendous.
I forget she's there. And when she does talk, she talks. Well, that's certainly never the end for the end. It's like, okay.
She whispers.
Right. She's so unconfident. For such a woman that, like, I mean, I don't think confidence is an issue for Velvet Sky. Like, I don't know. She always seemed like a pretty confident woman, but, like, I don't know. It's like, you know, she's just like, wow, that's gonna hurt tomorrow. It's like, okay. Thanks.
She not only whispers. When you can actually hear what she's saying, it's never anything of any consequence.
No, she said it's never the end with the end 6 times during the end match. That's all she had. And it's like, ow. She's going to feel that one in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just like
the most generic
like
drivel.
It's a soundbite. You can just tell Velvet, hey, come into the booth, record 17 things, and then we'll just play them intermittently. You don't even have to show up anymore.
She does video game commentary.
Right. Like Joe Galley could just hit a button where you go, oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, that's all we need. Right.
That's going to leave a bruise. Yeah. It's just horrendous.
So
bad.
She's
horrible. She's the worst. She's the worst in the business.
Yeah. That wasn't good, but at least otherwise production side was pretty damn good. So, all right, quickly, let's go over the rest of this card. Did you see all of it, unfortunately?
Whole card.
Okay. So we had the opener Lucha Rules match here. We had Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf. They defeat Marche Rocket and Slice Boogie. Rudo, who's Sam Adonis, Sal Renaro, and the end, Otison and Pero, who we both enjoy here. There was a lot of stuff happening during this. I thought this was pretty good action, but, you know, nothing to really sink your teeth into too much.
Yeah, that was the best match of the show.
That's, yeah. Well, yeah. Tied, I think. I have another match. I have another one.
We'll get to it when we get to it. But, yeah, I thought this was the best match in the show. It wasn't great or anything. It's like a 3-star match. Yeah,
but good work. Good work from everybody. I thought that everybody put some effort in, so...
I like that Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf won. They did a terrible finish on the TV this week, though. They wrestled the end, and was it the end or was it War Kings?
Joe, believe it or not, I did not catch NWA Power this week, so I cannot answer that for you.
You'll never believe this finish, though. They're having the best match on Power since the reboot, right? It's this kick-ass tag match. There's guys flying all over the ring. All of a sudden, the referee just looks around and waves it off and rings the bell. And the ref waved it off and called it a no contest because people weren't tagging in and out. And all I could think about was Jim Ross should be calling this show. He'd fucking love it. The referee waved off the best match we've seen on Power in ages because he couldn't control the action.
Yeah.
These wrestlers out of control.
Jim Ross special. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they were both kicking too much ass. It was too exciting for the crowd. They had to shut it down. So.
I could do with never seeing Sal Renaro or Danny Deals ever again. I could do without them. Very cringe. But no, I thought it was clear and low bar is the best match on the show.
There you go. Speaking of somebody I could never see ever again, and speaking of not putting effort in, Tyrus defeats the Pope in a non-title match here. Tyrus is so you told me how bad Tyrus was, and
yes,
I didn't quite believe it.
Or didn't grasp how bad.
Oh my god, this is a dude. You call Alex Marvez stealing money?
Yeah.
Whatever they're paying Tyrus, he is stealing. If they're paying him $5, he's not worth that.
The thing about Tyrus too is this was a new batch of tapings, which means he had months and months and months to get into ring shape. He was totally
Joe,
not.
He did not.
Yeah, which to me as a promoter, that'd be it for him.
Yeah,
because okay, you show up at the first taping, you haven't wrestled in ages. I'll cut you a break, right? But then you watch yourself back on TV. You know you're not in ring shape. You know you're blowing up in 3-minute matches. And you show up at the next set of tapings in the same lousy condition. That's insulting to me as an employer. You'd never work for me again because you don't care. Instead, they're going to push him. He's even worse than I described him to you in your eyes. And I think Tyrus is the worst major league level pro wrestler in the business right now. I can't think of someone who's worse.
No, and I think what really struck me on this show too, in particular, his in-ring is horrendous. His ring shape is awful. He clearly does not care at all at any level because he comes out and he cuts the worst promo ever. He goes, "Hey, Pope, yeah, you know your charity? Yeah, I'm wearing the shirt of your charity, yeah." And he walks out. I'm like, oh my god. Oh, I'm excited now about this match. Like that.
And then the announcers have to explain it.
Right.
Because as a viewer, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I thought it was a babyface promo because he was talking about some charity.
Yes, I did too. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, "Hey, Pope, your charity, I'm wearing its shirt." And I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool. And Joe Galli or whatever is like, "Oh, that's despicable. He has nothing to do with that charity." And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The announcers had to save it because he didn't.
Yeah, because he fucking sucks. Yeah, and Austin Idol is, I mean, Jesus, what are we doing? Like, come on.
I mean, Austin Idol at least tries.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish they'd put him with someone else. Tyrus,
awful.
He is horrendous,
Awful.
And it would be insulting to me if I were Billy Corgan that he shows up at a second taping in the condition that he is still in. I mean, he's really, really bad, really bad.
Kylie Ray, fresh off a retirement, and Taryn Terrell team up against Melina and Thunder Rosa. This was not great. It was okay. Definitely one of the worst Thunder Rosa matches I've seen in a while. She definitely didn't seem like her heart was really into this all that much. I think she tried okay, but they did a spot where her and Taryn Terrell, I think, were beating each other up and went to the back and then left, the last 2 minutes or so for Kylie Ray and Melina to have their match, and it was not that great either. So there you go.
Kylie Ray was the mystery partner, and the idea was she turned heel at the end of the match. So she held the tights. She held Melina's tights, and then kind of did some heel mannerisms, and the idea is she's going to be a heel. So, look, we talked about earlier. I think you're really playing with fire if you're counting on Kylie Ray for any length of time. That's number one. Then number two, you're going to use her as a heel. Seems like she's miscast. I don't know. Yeah, this was just basically a mess. I don't know what else to say. I mean, Taryn Terrell and Melina are really bad. Yeah, I don't know.
There you go. That's good. Yeah, Taryn Terrell was not very good when she was an active wrestler, and now she's pretty much an active wrestler. And she's here now, and there you go. All right, JTG versus Fred Rosser. I enjoyed this, Joe, because it was just two wrestlers with a little bit of effort that went out there and wrestled for 10 minutes. So probably my second favorite match on this entire show because, God damn it, they just went out there and they wrestled, and I was ready for that at this point in this show. So yeah,
these are former WWE main event, not main eventers, but main event wrestlers, and they went out there and had a main event match.
Yeah.
And it qualified as one of the better things in the show.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Yeah. It was
and one of the more definitive wins of the entire show as well.
That's the good sign, because if JTG won, you would think that he got a nice little push at the taping. I didn't read the spoilers.
Yeah, I haven't either. So,
I like to be surprised when I watch my Power.
You got to stay on the edge of your seat for Power.
Yeah. But that would stand to reason that he'll get a push, and I think he should get a push. So I was happy with the result. And they hugged it out at the end.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good stuff. Yeah, it was just two guys went in there, tried to prove who was better than the other guy. JTG was better on this night. Hugged it out. Good. So, yeah. NWA World Tag Team Title 3-way match. Aaron Stevens and Kratos defeat Chris Adonis, Tom Lattimore, and defeat the War Kings, Crimson and Jack Stain, to retain their titles. This was fuck finish number 4, I think, on the show already. Yeah, this was pretty terrible as well, because most of the people in this match were not good. So Kratos and Jack Stain had a fun little thing for a minute. Tom Lattimore and Chris Adonis are I think pretty terrible. Crimson I got no need for, and Aaron Stevens I have no need for. So yeah, other than that, it was great.
Didn't like it. It had weird rules too, like 3 guys in the ring at a given time.
Yeah, I didn't know. When I said World Tag Team Title 3-way, I guess it didn't strike me that it would be the way it was. I guess I should have assumed that, but yeah, essentially one guy from each team was in the ring at all times.
Which then gives you that awkward 3-way thing instead of, yeah.
Wasn't good. All right, to move on to the NWA World's Women's title match here. Camille gets the big win as we predicted last week. Defeats Serena Deeb. 14 minutes and 18 seconds to win the NWA World Women's title. There were parts of this match that I enjoyed, but I thought Serena Deeb did all she could to get something out of Camille. I think there is potential in Camille, but I mean, without Serena Deeb and presumably without Thunder Rosa, let's assume that both of them are not in every single Camille match. This is, I don't know. Camille, I think she's got potential. I like a lot about her look, and I like a lot about some of the stuff she does, but I don't know if she's got the connective tissue to go out there and have a great match. Serena tried her ass off here, but it was fine. But I'm very scared to see what Camille does in singles matches against whoever she's gonna. Kylie Ray, you know what I mean, or Taryn Terrell.
Well, I mean, the Thunder Rosa draw was a lot better than this Borderline Notebook, and this was okay. And she, I think she had a good match against Genocide. But so it's like I get it. She's definitely green. There's no question about that. But, I mean, she keeps going out there and having decent matches. So I get what you're saying. I think if she's in there with Kylie Ray or somebody like that, it's going to be okay because Kylie Ray is really good. The problem is going to be if they dare put her in there with Melina or Taryn Terrell or Alex Gracia, who is really, really bad. Someone like that, she's not capable of leading a match. But when she's been in there with Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, and the Genocide match was really good. Yeah, but she's not going to, as a champion, they're going to have to be careful who they put her in there with because it will expose her.
Yeah, I think there's ways that you can make it work, and I think she's got a very projectable look.
Yes.
As you said, the voice it's not great. She hopefully
should still have never cut a promo.
Yeah.
Her cutting the promos has exposed her way more than her work has. Because she can go in there and have acceptable and even really good matches. The problem is now we know why Lagana was keeping her quiet, and she should still be a quiet killer to this day. Her aura was really hurt by her promos because she's a terrible promo, and her voice doesn't match her menacing appearance.
No. And then, that's it. Then we talked about the main event. So that was the NWA When Our Shadows Fall. Oh, and we also had a really, really terrible Smashing Pumpkins video song at the beginning of the song, When Our Shadows Fall. So
with the clowns.
Yep.
Scary clowns.
We're scary clowns.
So they're going to St. Louis August 28th and 29th. They're doing an all-women's pay-per-view produced by Mickie James on the 28th. And then the 29th is a full roster pay-per-view, the 73rd anniversary show. And then they're going to do 2 days of tapings. So they've got a big 4-day weekend set up in St. Louis at the end of August, which is 1 week before All Out in Chicago. So, the all women's pay-per-view is an interesting thing. We'll see how that comes off. But they're gonna ask people to pay for 2 pay-per-views in one weekend. Coming off of this thing, it's a big ask. So we'll see what kind of build we get on Power for these things. But the all-women's pay-per-view may be enough of a gimmick to where they can get people to buy it. You'll have Thunder Rosa on it, presumably. We'll see who else. I don't know if Deeb will be back now that she lost the title. But that's a lot to ask. You're going to ask people to spend, what are they, 20 or 30, $20?
I think they were 20. Yeah, I thought this one, our Shadows Fall, was 20.
So $40, ask people to buy 2 of them. Maybe they'll do some kind of package deal, 2 for 30 or something. But I don't know. It's hard to be optimistic.
Definitely is. Yeah. So that is NWA. Well, at least we're gonna end the show on an exciting front as we talk about NXT TakeOver in your house this weekend. Joe, get into it. How pumped are you for NXT TakeOver in your house?
I mean, it's real gimmicky.
Fucking stinks. This show, this card. What are they doing? I haven't watched NXT in a few weeks because tonally I just cannot watch that show anymore. I'll watch this because it's a takeover. I can't do the Capital Wrestling. I can't do Beth Phoenix screaming at me. I can't do Vic Joseph screaming at me. I can't do 10,000-year-old Chinese women. I can't do another ladder match. Why do we have another ladder match? What are we doing in this? I'm at a loss. This card is so weird. If I gave you this card a year ago, you'd look at me and be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's just, what are they doing? I don't understand what this company is. I don't understand who this company appeals to anymore.
I watch it every week, and sometimes I have to take a break. It's sensory overload. Just the overproduced and the piped in noise and the announcers.
And that's worse than anything. Honestly, in a vacuum, NXT week to week is not that bad. I just can't stand the sound of the noise or the anything about it. It's
the way
just
it looks. It's overproduced. It's
there's just lights everywhere and everyone's screaming at me the entire time. It's totally just terrible.
Someone was in our Twitter mentions and they were like, "I would love NXT and I would think it's the best show, but it needs to be bigger and bolder like Raw and SmackDown."
What?
Like, what are you watching?
Oh my god, no!
How much bigger and bolder do you need it to be? Like it's in your face already.
It is the brightest, loudest show you will watch on TV.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's taking place in an airplane. It's just Vic Joseph screaming, Beth Phoenix screaming, everybody yelling. There's 6,000 things happen on every show. They're boom, 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 backstage, back to the front, backstage, boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's a manic show. How could you need it bigger and bolder?
I mean, I don't know. It was one of those replies to your tweet asking why people watch WWE. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot. It's a real thick and heavy 2 hours of wrestling. It's like I mean, I'm not being facetious. Sometimes I got to take a break.
Yeah,
like I'll watch the rest of this later.
It's exhausting. It's an exhausting show to watch.
It's an exhausting show. It's like trying to get through a PWG show.
Yeah, it exhausts your senses. It really exhausts your senses, and you need to kind of So that's why I really have not watched week to week as much. I mean, obviously I watched this because it's a takeover, and for the most part, takeovers are okay. But this. Oof. Eek! I don't know about this show, so let's. I'll preview. I'll kind of lead you through this. You're more familiar with the build, so you can kind of chime in on these real quickly. Although I can't imagine you have a ton to say about every one of these, but we'll see. Winner take all 6-man tag for the NXT North American and NXT Tag Team Championships. You got all that?
No.
Okay, so Bronson Reed is the NXT North American champion. Well, he was teaming with MSK, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yes.
So they're gonna face Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza. So presumably, if those guys win, Santos Escobar would win the North American title, and Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza would win the tag team titles.
That's not convoluted at all.
No, or they'll fight. Maybe Joaquin Wilde will be like, "Fuck no, I want the North American title. Like, I don't want to team with Raul Mendoza. Fuck this guy." Like, so maybe that's a way to build tension. But there you go. So winner take all 6-man tag for the North American and NXT. Why? I mean, come on, just have fucking matches. What are we doing? Like, all right,
I think I could like review this show right now. I know how every one of these matches is going to go. Like the main event, the 5-way for the title. We're going to come on here and we're going to say they all worked hard. And I guess it was good, but I didn't enjoy it. That's what we're going to say. You know what I mean? the ladder match. We're going to say, oh, another ladder match. They did some risky stuff. I've seen so many of these. I just couldn't enjoy it. This match here, this winner take all. It's going to be a hot 6-man.
Yeah, everybody
rolls.
rolls.
Going to open the show.
All 6 guys are awesome wrestlers, and I love all of them.
It'll probably be the best match on the show. It's going to open the show. Like, I know how every one of I know what I'm going to say about every one of these matches before they even happen. Because I see them in my mind.
NXT Women's Championship match, Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. I mean, hopefully they don't overthink this, and Raquel just beats the hell out of her, right?
I mean, the thing with Moon is every now and then she has a bad night. And Raquel Gonzalez, not exactly been Ami Toyota in the experience department. So this could be good. It could fall apart. It's NXT, though. I feel like they'll hold it together. Yeah, look, it's very rare that an NXT match does fall apart. They got that fucking warehouse where they could practice this thing 19 times.
They usually don't. Yeah, they don't get on that level where they completely, other than an injury happening or something like that. It stands that they'll probably be fine.
Yeah, they're probably doing this match every day.
Right, there's enough smart people in that room there that are going through the beats every single point in this match. So. You're going to have to explain this one to me. Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li. So Xia Li, I assume, will be accompanied by the 10,000-year-old Chinese woman as well?
That's true. You're not making that up.
Okay, so Mercedes Martinez, is she evil? Is she being sucked into the evil? What's going on here? Thought she was on the main roster. What happened? We're done with that?
The 10,000-year-old Chinese lady's she's got that hot breath.
Yeah.
The breath comes out of
them. Yeah, it's killed multiple people, and it seems to not really concern anybody. They continue to invite her to the Capitol Wrestling Center. When she killed Kira Hogan, right? Or not Kira, who'd she kill? Jaden Carter, right?
Caden Carter?
Yeah. Or Caden Carter, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, she's dead.
She's dead. Like, she hasn't been seen since then. She literally died, and they just...
Hot breath killed her.
And then they just went to the next match. They just went to commercial, then went to...
Yeah. This is NXT these days.
Yeah, I don't know what this company is anymore.
I
don't understand this. What happened? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Remember when it was just like, here's 5 matches, every one of these people are just fighting to win a title or to prove that they're better than the other person.
Right.
And then they'd go out there for 2 hours in front of a fucking molten hot crowd, have 3 or 4 good matches, a great main event, and that was it. And takeovers were great.
Safest bet in wrestling, right?
I don't know if it is anymore, but anyway, we'll have to see if the 10,000-year-old woman can kill Mercedes Martinez with her hot breath as well. The 27th ladder match this year from NXT. That is, I think it's honestly 8 for the last calendar year. It's at least 8 or 11, somewhere in that range. But we have a ladder match. I can't believe I'm reading this. This is the one that if I told you this a year ago, you would look at me and just say, Rich, what are you talking about? You'd think I'm filling out a Mad Libs when I say Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight, the former Eli Drake, and a ladder match for $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's vacant $1 Million Championship.
Yes. It's Trevor Lee versus
Trevor
Eli
Lee
Drake.
versus Eli Drake.
Yeah.
In a ladder match for the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Championship on NXT.
Dummy, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's what the match is.
I love that they changed nothing about him. Eli, what do you do well? Well, I say Eli Drake. Okay, all right. So, what's your new name going to be? LA Knight. All right, yeah, that's good. We're good. You guys want to change anything else? No, we're good. That's good.
Nope. Just do that.
Keep doing what you're doing, pal.
Just remember to say LA Knight instead of Eli Drake, and we're good. Yep.
And they push him. Why would you push LA? Like, you have hundreds of people under contract. You have most of the good indie wrestlers over the last few years, and you push Eli Drake.
LA Knight.
LA Knight as one of your top guys. It's just fucking ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, Mad Libs match here. Trevor Lee versus Eli Drake. Ladder match for the vacant $1 Million Man's Championship. What the fuck?
I don't know, man.
And then this match, I mean, they're just trying to piss me off at this point. Yeah. NXT Championship, fatal 5-way show. Karrion Kross Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, old John Gargano's at it again, and Pete Dunne. I mean, how many title matches does Johnny Gargano get? Right? Like, come on,
It never stops.
Like, come on. You
Never
don't get it
stops.
anymore. You're done.
But he's the leader of the way.
Right. Hey, you think Indy and or the fuck Dexter Lumis, you think they're gonna fuck? I hope so.
I mean, she was unconscious and he took her away, right?
Right. So presumably they already have.
That's a great storyline to run.
Oh,
on the 1 year
absolutely.
anniversary, on the 1 year anniversary of Speaking Out.
Yeah.
Let's have a woman go unconscious and a character who's supposed to be a serial killer carry her away.
A creep serial killer can carry her to the back, presumably to fuck her unconscious.
To bone her because they've been flirting and wanting to bone. Yeah. But he waits till she's unconscious. Yeah.
Tremendous stuff.
Smart
So
booking.
a fatal 5-way, Joe. Who is coming away from this fatal 5-way as your new NXT champion?
I mean, it's
Fallen Prey guy's definitely winning, isn't he?
it's got to be Karrion Kross. I mean, Fallen Prey. Yeah. Fucking sucks.
How do you have a match that has Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne, and that's my review or my preview of it? Come on, what are we doing?
Maybe Kross will twist an ankle in the opening couple of minutes, and we'll get
audible.
a
At the
four-way with
audible,
other guy.
yeah.
Gotta do the old audible. Got to pull an old Peyton Manning in this one and switch gears because Kross pulls a very good professional wrestler in the ECW Super 8 and breaks his leg, and they got to do something else here.
Go to Pete Dunne, yeah. Go to Bruiserweight, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, that's NXT TakeOver. Definitely fits the name In Your House because it definitely looks like a 1995 shitty WWF In Your House pay-per-view. So congratulations to them.
Has Fallen Prey guy been in front of fans yet?
That's a great question. I don't know. I gotta look that up. It's been so long that we've been in this COVID thing that
This is the Capitol Wrestling Center, though, right?
You know, Joe, he hasn't. He debuted April 29th, 2020.
Yeah. Yep.
He has never been in front of real fans.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Still, but this is Capitol Wrestling Center, right?
Yeah. So there'll be this crowd molten hot for Killer Kross, I'm sure. So
yeah, it sounds like like you said, an airplane.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone is constantly using a dustbuster, like the piped in sound. That's what it sounds like.
Like, how could this company not have good piped in sound?
It sounds like my broken air conditioner when I came home.
It does when you try to start it. Yeah, it sounds like a broken air conditioner. And then then occasionally they'll hit the big pop button. They do it for Poppy all the time when Poppy shows up. And it's just it's just stone cold 1998 in that building. That
Poppy's going to be on it again, right?
I saw, yeah. I will tell you, it's, if you have an anniversary coming up or you just want to do something for the person that you love in your life, love something as much as Triple H loves Poppy and NXT loves Poppy. I mean, just try to love your wife, love your husband, love your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. You love them as much as NXT loves Poppy, and everything will be okay. And you'll have a happy, good relationship because that's love, man. That is love.
Yeah.
Poppy. She's back.
Oh, it's funny. I went to the barber to get my beard trimmed.
Oh, your beard barber? Yeah.
Said, hey, I heard Poppy's going to be on NXT this week. And I was like, you're right.
You said, PeacockTV.com, man, my man. NXT TakeOver in your house Sunday night.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Poppy.
And right when my barber was trimming up my beard, and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be tuning in, sir, to watch Poppy and L.A. Knight." Really a big fan of L.A. Knight. My beard barber loves L.A. Knight and Poppy.
Oh, we're so overtime, but I always there was an NWA Power promo from Eli Drake that he did last year that has stuck with me for whatever reason. So he does his normal promo and he goes, when you're at the gas station. Do you remember this promo?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you the whole story. So he goes, when you're at the gas station and it says, do you want a receipt? And it says yes or it says no. Do you know if you don't hit a button, the next guy can come in and fill up gas on your dime? I don't remember what the context of the promo was.
Yeah.
Which is not true. That's not how it actually works. It just eventually just goes away and does it. But I don't know the context, but every time I fill up gas now and that receipt thing comes up, in my head I go Eli Drake because I'm just it's synonymous now with that, and it's so weird. And I tell myself don't do it. I'm driving up to the gas station. I go don't do it. Don't think of Eli Drake. And then it says, do you want a receipt? And I just see Eli Drake in the fucking NWA Power studio.
That is, I think that's a perfect place to end the show.
That's where my life is at these days. So there we go. Eli Drake, NXT TakeOver, in your house. I think we'll have a review on the website. I honestly don't know. Nobody wanted to do it. So maybe we'll do it. I don't know. I'll find somebody, or I'll do it, or somebody will do it. But we'll talk about it on the show, I think, right? You gonna watch NXT TakeOver in your house?
I guess. What else do I have going on?
Get into it. All right. There it is. So thank you to Manscaped. Thank you to mybookie.ag for sponsoring this week's show. Patreon.com/Voice of Wrestling. Help Joe get that air conditioner and dishwasher all paid for. Written content, audio content up there at patreon.com/Voice of Wrestling. So for Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Great. Talk to you next time on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast.